Well, for the New York Yankees, it'll be the first night game of spring training, and there is a little bit of a chill in the air. You can see the fans. They're prepared. They have their jackets as they're getting ready for spring training baseball. Managers are here, Freddie Gonzalez of the Atlanta Braves and Joe Girardi of the Yankees. As tonight on Yes, presented by Verizon Fios, it'll be the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. Spring training baseball from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with Lou Piniella tonight. Lou making his spring training debut. And, Lou, let's talk a little bit about the Yankee outfield. You were a great outfielder for the Yankees back in the day. But the fact is, Brett Gardner's playing some center field. He's playing some left field. If there's one player who's been a constant, it's been Ichiro. He's going to play just about anywhere in the outfield. And you had him when he broke in. Do you think he was going to be this type of player?
Well, we knew we were getting a good ball player when we got Ichiro from Japan. Actually, he proved to be a better ball player than what we thought. There wasn't anything this young man couldn't do on the field. He could hit, he could run, he could throw, he could play the outfield, and he's had a great career. Here you see him getting loose before the ball game. I've never seen a guy stretch and get loose before a ball game more than Ichiro, and that's probably why he plays 162 games a year and stays away from injuries.
Well, Ichiro, of course, was involved in a car accident the other day, but he's going to be okay. It seems like he was uninjured. His car was totaled, but Ichiro came out fine. Maybe all that stretching that he does that kept him healthy. Let's check out our Verizon pitching matchup for today. It's going to be Paul Maholm, a left-hander, going for the Atlanta Braves. That was his record last year with the Cubs, 13-11, a 3.67. David Phelps been pitching very well for the New York Yankees, 4-4 with a 3.34 ERA. He gets to start tonight, probably goes somewhere around 40 pitches. Well, the Braves brought their number one lineup tonight. Jason Hayward's going to be in right field. The Upton brothers are on hand. Good night of baseball here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. We'll have it all for you coming up next right here on Yes. Born better. Beautiful night here in Tampa. Maybe a little bit of a chill in the air, but we understand very chilly, even snow up north. So we got to feel kind of comfortable around these parts, don't we, Lou?
Well, if cold weather doesn't stay too long in Florida, tonight probably dip into the 50s.
Yeah. That's not bad at all. Let's check out tonight's Braves starting lineup presented by Hyundai. At the very top, it's going to be a speedster. Jordan Schaefer will be in center field. Power guy batting second, Jason Hayward. He'll be in right. Justin Upton will be in left field. Freddie Freeman bats cleanup. He'll be at first base. B.J. Upton will be the DH. Dan Uggla at second. Chris Johnson will be at third. Tyler Pasternicki's the shortstop. And Mac Pagnazzi will be doing the catching and batting ninth. On the mound for the Yankees tonight, David Phelps. Been pitching very well here in spring training. Last year 4-4 for the Yankees with a 3.34 ERA. And it's time for baseball here in Tampa. First pitch is high and outside to Jordan Schaefer.
Braves brought over a pretty good lineup tonight, Kenny.
Yes, they did. These just about the same lineup played against the Mets yesterday in Port St. Lucie. This ball's hit well to right center field. On the run is Gardner. I don't think he's going to get this one. In fact, this one bounces over the wall for a two-base hit. So Schaefer's going to have to return to second. Ball bounded off the warning track and took a big hop over the wall.
Well, Schaefer's trying to earn himself a job in the Braves outfield. Here he gets a fastball out over the plate, really stays on it well, and drives it. Long way out there in right center field.
Yeah, Schaefer last year spent his time with the Houston Astros and was claimed on waivers over the winter by the Atlanta Braves.
Well, he's an athletic kid. He can play all over. He can run. And you can see he can drive the ball.
Yeah, showed a little power on that one. So he's at second with nobody out, leading the ball game off for the Braves. And that'll bring up their big right fielder, Jason Hayward. And he swings and misses strike one. Hayward, a former #1 draft pick of the Braves. And the Braves are looking for him to take that extra step. He's a 20-20 player, which means he hits home runs in the 20s, can steal 20 bases. But they feel he can be a 100 RBI man, Lou.
And Walker, the hitting coach, Greg Walker, really likes him.
Inside, a ball and a strike.
You know, the Braves, 3 Gold Glove outfielders in one outfield. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and all 3 have speed and power. It should be very well manned in the outfield this year down in Atlanta. 1-1 pitch, and it looked like a changeup swung on and missed. 1-2. Here are the numbers on David Phelps: 4-4, 3.34, and very impressive. 96 strikeouts in 99 2/3 innings, and opponents only hit 223 against him, Lou. So this young man is tough to hit out of University of Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's a competitor. He loves that comeback fastball against left-hand hitters. We'll see if he uses it here with 2 strikes.
You know, it's interesting, too. You figure out how players advance through minor league systems. Phelps's minor league ERA was never higher than 3.19. So he did good pitching to get to this point. Ball is hit in the end of left field and hit pretty well. Drifting back is Ichiro. He'll make the catch. Schaefer tagging at second, and he's going to make it over to third. So a productive out off the bat of Jason Hayward. 1 out and a runner on third. Let's check out the Yankees on defense right now. You saw Ichiro in left field tonight. Brett Gardner's in center. Zorlo Amonte is in right field. Corbin Joseph at third. Eduardo Nunez at short. Jason Nix at second. Dan Johnson at first, and Chris Stewart doing the catching.
Yeah, it's a little strange seeing Ichiro out in left field, either center or right. He played right field for me all those years in Seattle, but I'd never played him in left.
Well, the Yankees did somewhat last year for a little bit, and he had to agree to that before the Yankees would make the trade, and he would play in left field, and he said sure. Here's Justin Upton. Came over in a deal from the Arizona Diamondbacks during the winter after his brother had signed a free agent deal with the Braves. So the Upton brothers are united in the outfield. Although tonight BJ is going to be the designated hitter.
Well, this young man here, yeah, this young man has a ton of power.
He's already hit a 475-foot home run this spring. And that is over the inside corner for a call strike. There's Ichiro.
He's always stretching, Kenny. Always stretching. Always limber. He gets in his body in positions that if I did, I'd need a masseuse for about 3 or 4 days.
All his games in left field were with the Yankees last year. So you're right. You never played him in left
Never
field.
played him in left, no.
Pitched up, then curveball drops out of the strike zone, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There he goes again. If I did that, need a stretcher. Get me back to the bench.
Hit on the ground is short for Nunez. Nunez over the first, and that's in time, but a run is going to score, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead. So Upton delivers the RBI ground out, and the Braves jump out in front here at the top of the first.
Well, 3 very productive at bats to start the ball game for Atlanta. The double in the right center, moving them over to third, getting them in. Infield back.
Here's the big first baseman, Freddie Freeman. And he, like Jason Hayward, they would like to see him take that extra step driving 100 runs.
Yeah, this young man's got a quick bat.
23 home runs, 94 runs batted in. Pretty good fielding first baseman.
Yeah, they want to see a little more power from him, a little more RBI production.
Ground ball through the middle and on into center field for a base hit. So Freeman on with a 2-out single to keep the inning going for the Atlanta Braves. Of course, the Braves are one of the teams that should be in contention in the National League East.
Again, a ball out over the plate. Doesn't try to pull it, stays with it. Head straight down, watching the baseball, and drives it right up the middle.
Not much of a stride either, just right to the ball. So Freeman's on with 2 outs, and that'll bring up B.J. Upton, the older of the Upton brothers. Swing and a miss, strike one. Of course, for 8 years, B.J. was with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, the people here in the Tampa Bay area got to see B.J. for 8 years. My last year there as a manager, we brought him up. The talented young guy.
Well, the Braves thought enough of him to give him $75 million. 5 years, $75 million. He had a career high 28 home runs last year for Tampa Bay.
It's a nice number, Kenny.
Yeah, it would have been back in the day, Lou. That pitch just missed the corner. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Of course, one of the things about Upton, strikes out an awful lot, 168 times last year. And the Braves signed him essentially to replace Michael Bourne, who went on to sign with the Cleveland Indians.
2 different type players.
Outside again, 2-2.
Bourne more of a contact guy.
Yeah,
although I'll tell you what, Upton can run
as
well as Bourne can.
Bourne only got $48 million though from Cleveland.
Well, I feel bad for him. Atlanta's a big ballpark now.
Yeah, it is. You need some speed in the outfield.
You sure do.
Outside once again, the Cowboys gone full on B.J. Upton.
Yeah, but you look at their lineup when they get McCann back behind home plate.
Yeah.
You've got 3 outstanding left-hand hitters in McCann, and Hayward, and Freeman.
Here's manager Freddie Gonzalez, who's got an awful lot of talent on his club. Good starting pitching, solid bullpen.
No question.
Runner goes. The pitch is hit in the air down the right field side. Jason Nix, the second baseman, drifts back in fair territory, makes the catch, and that'll do it for the Braves here at the top of the first inning. They pick up a run on 2 hits at the end of half an inning. It's the Braves 1, the Yankees coming to the plate.
What if you could redesign business travel from scratch? Chances are you'd make it about speed and efficiency, giving people the freedom to spend their time how
the first inning. They'll be facing the left-hander on the mound. It's Paul Mulholland. You can see him taking his warm-up tosses to get started for the Braves here. Joe Girardi has penned this lineup for the New York Yankees. In center field leading off is the speedy Brett Gardner. Ichiro Suzuki tonight in left field. We showed you. Jason Nix will be at second base. He'll bat third. Travis Hafner will be the designated hitter. Eduardo Nunez is at shortstop. Chris Stewart will be doing the catching. Dan Johnson's at first. Zoilo Almonte will be in right field. And Corbin Joseph, that's ninth, and he will be at third base. And you're looking at Paul Mahalam, who is 30 years old. He was with the Cubs for a time last year, got traded to the Braves, and went 13-11, 189 innings, 140 strikeouts. Not really a strikeout pitcher. Opponents hit 250 against him.
Little sinker baller, throws the ball 88, 89, cuts the fastball, got a changeup, good control. 4-starter for the Braves this year.
Out of Mississippi State University, the Pirates made him a #1 draft pick. Best season was last year when he won 13 games. Here's Brett Gardner, who's having a fantastic spring. 9 for 16. That's good anytime, but 9 for 16, hitting .563. He's facing the left-hander Mahalam tonight. The first pitch is in there for a call strike.
Yeah, Brett's going to have to hit some this year, especially with Granderson out in center field.
You know, the way he's been leading off ball games, you know, Derek Jeter's about ready to come back in about 5 days or so. Joe Girardi's going to have to make an adjustment to the lineup. Curveball breaks down low and away. It's a ball and a strike, or does he leave Gardy up near the top?
You know, the way Jeter hits the ball to right field, right center field behind the runner, I personally would like Jeter in the 2-hole.
And where would you put Ichiro then?
Well, well, we can let me think about that.
Yeah, all right. 3 does not go into 2 at the top.
No,
of the
I
order.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You've got three really wonderful players that are very interchangeable in those spots.
Line drive foul into the left field seats. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brett Gardner. Now, past lineups for Joe Girardi, we just saw the Yankee manager, sometimes had Gardner batting in the 9th spot. But of course, Derek Jeter is not the stolen base threat that Gardner is.
Yeah, you've got more speed as far as stolen bases are concerned with Gardner.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Gardner chops one foul in the home plate area. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the one good thing, Kenny, you don't have to make that decision here the first week in March. You've got a long spring training ahead of you, and you can see how it works out. And with all these players hurt in the WBC, it'll give Joe a really good idea what he's got depth-wise.
Well, the ball fouled off. You're right. You make reference to the WBC, and Yankees got news today that Mark Teixeira strained his wrist, and he's going to leave the WBC team. Got news before the game, and just another injury for manager Joe Girardi to think about. Teixeira's headed for New York, will be examined by Dr. Christian Ahmad and Dr. Melvin, and we hope that Gardner's okay as he fouls the ball off his foot.
Well, Kenny, the team needs a good switch hitter. Are you ready?
I was about to ask you, Lou. Dr. Melvin Rosenwasser is going to help Dr. Ahmad in the examination of Mark Teixeira tomorrow. No, I'm not ready, Lou.
No, I'm not either. Let's hope that Mark's okay, though.
Yes, certainly. Yeah, those days are long since gone. They were fun while they lasted, though. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gardner, and he fouls another pitch off. Gardner's quite adept at fouling pitches off and making pitchers work. Teixeira, 5 games in spring training, 4 for 14, 1 extra base hit, a couple of runs batted in, and unfortunately for the USA team, he had to withdraw for the World Baseball Classic. And he'll be getting that wrist tested in New York tomorrow. Good luck, Tex. 2-2 pitch. Hit hard, and a worthy at bat to start a ball game for Brett Gardner. Fouled off several pitches, got something he can handle, and now he has hit in all 7 games he's played in this spring. Let's check out the Braves on defense. Justin Upton in left, Jordan Schaefer at center, Jason Hayward in right, Chris Johnson at third, Tyler Pasternicki at short, Dan Uggla at second, Freddie Freeman at first, and Matt Pagnazzi doing the catching for Paul Mahalam. Here is Ichiro. And he's taking all the way, and it's in there for a strike. In our open tonight, in case you missed it, Lou and I referenced the fact that Ichiro was in a car accident here the other day, right out here on Dale Mabry. A lady cut him off, totaled his car. Ichiro walked away without a scratch. It was sort of like NASCAR. You know, he was okay.
Yeah, I talked to him about it before the ball game. He was a little scared. He said, "Some driver's crazy."
Well, maybe somebody in too much of a hurry to get home or late for an appointment or whatever. Well, the good news is Ichiro's okay, and he's playing for the Yankees. Their pitch is a strike, and it's 1-2.
What a great career this young man's had.
Now, you also mentioned in our open that you had him when he broke in.
Yeah, I had him for quite a few years over in Seattle, and you know, I really enjoyed watching him play. Very, very prepared, very, very disciplined, knows how to play the game.
Curveball misses, 2-2. It helped that he had 200 hits his first year, didn't it?
200 hits. I'll tell you what, he could run like the wind. Man, if you hit a ball to the right side of the shortstop, they couldn't throw him out. In fact, maybe a little next time up, I'll tell you a little funny little story about Ichiro.
Ground ball towards second for Ugla. He has it. Goes to the shortstop past Janicki. No relay. There's that speed you were talking about.
Yeah, he gets out of the box exceedingly well.
You know, I wonder if it has you know, the way he actually approaches the ball, he like walks into it.
He walks into it, and he's almost headed towards first as he makes contact with the ball. He's not quite as fast as I had him, but I'll tell you what, he can still run and run well.
He's better than average.
Yes, I wish I could run that well when I play.
That makes two of us.
Well, you didn't need to, Kenny. You had more power.
It would have helped, believe me. Here's Jason Nix. Batting third tonight, playing second base, and he'll take a pitch for a call strike. Paul Mahalam, 3 first pitch strikes here in the first inning.
Nix is a nice little player. He can play the infield, he can play a little outfield. Puts the ball in play. Got a little semblance of power. Nice guy to have on your roster.
You know, Joe Girardi, when he very rare opportunities he has to give Robinson Cano a day off. If he DHs him, he can put Nix at second. Same thing with Derek Jeter at short. We've seen Nix at third. We've also seen Nix in the outfield. A little more rarely will you see him in the outfield, but as you said, a good versatile player to have on your squad. There's a swing and a miss, and it's strike 2.
Every team needs a player or two like that to fill out their roster.
Younger brother of the Phillies outfielder Lance Nix. Colorado, the White Sox, Cleveland, Toronto, and New York. He's bounced around a bit. Curveball is hit in the air to left center field. It's hit pretty well. On the move is Schaefer. He's got speed, and he'll run this one down. Ichiro turns and head back to first base. And now 2 outs and a man on first. Nix gave that a bit of a ride. Not much wind here tonight, Lou.
No, not too much wind. And that was a pretty good curveball. And Jason stayed on it pretty well. I think he hit it just a little bit on the end of the bat.
Didn't quite have that sound.
Exactly. Here's the pitch now. Nice little curveball out over the plate. And yeah, he did. He hit it. He stayed down with it very, very well, but he hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. I think if he'd have gotten it all, he'd have driven into the gap or out of the ballpark.
Here's somebody who's capable of hitting it out of the ballpark, Travis Hafner. And he takes one just outside for ball 1.
Curious to see how Hafner does here with the Yankees. He had some outstanding years with Cleveland.
4 years in a row, he drove in 100 or more runs.
What was his nickname?
Kronk.
Kronk. Okay.
Outside ball 2. Now, he effectively is kind of taking the place of Raul Ibanez. And the Yankees certainly like to get the same sort of production and punctuality because Ibanez hit some timely home runs for the Yankees in the postseason.
No question. You know, when Kronk was over there in Cleveland doing that damage, those drums were a little louder when he came up the home plate.
Those drums go all the way back to Municipal Stadium in Cleveland.
Boy.
And when you think about it, they were louder over in the other stadium because there weren't as many people.
You're right.
It was a bigger stadium. Well, Travis Hafner, we told you his nickname is Proc, and he will tell you why.
A lot of people just call me Donkey, like Big Slow Donkey and all that stuff. And Selby called me Donkey one day, and I was like, "Hey, you're the guy that always calls me Project. You know, maybe you should put them together and call me Donkject or Pronky." So he's like, "Hey, Pronky, you know, I kind of like the ring of that," and it's shortened up to Pronk, and it's kind of stuck ever since.
Isn't that something? You know,
How about that?
all different ways of getting nicknames. Some of them you can't even repeat. Here's a pitch to Eduardo Nunez, and that's in there for a strike. But Pronk, it works. Works for me.
It works for him. Well, my son went to Virginia Tech, and there are Hokies there.
Yes, they are. Ball is driven foul. Hit well by Nunez, but about 40 feet foul for a strike.
Nunez has got some ability with the bat. The ball jumps off his bat. He needs to be just a little more disciplined at home plate. But young players have that problem.
He can run well, too.
Yes.
Getting a chance to play a lot of shortstop in the absence of the captain, Derek Jeter. That pitch is high for a ball. Now, we had heard that Jeter was supposed to start playing around March the 10th. About 5 more days, but he'll break in as a designated hitter. That pitch is inside. So Derek hitting during batting practice. He looked fine in batting practice.
He was running well. He was swinging the bat.
Took fielding practice. He looked normal to me.
What a pro.
Yeah.
What a pro.
2 on, 2 outs for the Yankees here in the bottom of the first. Ball is foul, out of play over the Yankee dugout. Count remains 2-2. Braves scored in the first inning. A double, a fly ball, and a ground out produced their run.
I think Jeter, they said around the 10th or 11th of March. Be nice to see him back on the field.
Low and inside. The count is now full, and that'll give the runners a running start on this 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. Ichiro at second. Hafner at first will break with the pitch. Mahalam up to 27 pitches here in the first inning as Nunez steps out. Mahalam in his 9th year. Started out with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember their rotation. Payoff pitch on the way, and it's inside, ball 4. The bases are loaded. Well, let's look at the game time weather conditions brought to you by Toyota. I mentioned kind of chilly here in Tampa. It's about 68. 68, partly cloudy. And in the Bronx, 41 with clear skies.
I think I'll take the 68.
I think I would do that every single time. Now, I understand up along corridor, northeast corridor, there might be some snow.
A little snow
in the offing.
You know, when you live here in Florida, though, snow doesn't sound all that bad. It really doesn't.
Yeah, when you're watching it on TV. Chris Stewart takes a pitch downstairs. He's up there with the bases loaded. One thing I noticed about weather reports here, they love to show the snowstorms up north. And I think what it does, it makes the tourists want to stay a little longer down here.
Better stay 3 or 4 more days if that storm blows over, right?
Stewart hit a home run here the other day at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Line drive over the fence in left center. That fastball's in there for a strike, and the count is 1-1. He and Francisco Cervelli in a battle for the #1 catching job. The other would become the backup. He's got a chance to make some noise right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And it looked like a changeup, and that missed. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, when you see a lefty out there struggling a little bit, and you got the bases loaded, he's behind the count. Boy, you want to sit on a nice pitch, drive it.
high, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Mulholland's pitch count up to 32 here in the first inning.
Yeah, I would think that Mulholland will probably throw 50, 55 pitches tonight.
Well, I know that David Phelps, we were talking to Larry Rothschild before the game, the Yankee pitching coach, he was hoping he'd be able to get 4 innings in tonight. Pitches line towards left field. Upton is there and makes the catch, and the Yankees will leave the bases loaded. Ball hit well, but not well placed. At the end of 1, the Braves have the lead on the Yankees. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Afternoon, Robinson Cano sheds the pinstripes and joins the powerful Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic team when they take on the Yankees in an exhibition game here at Steinbrenner Field. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. right here on Yes, and Lou and I are back with all the action. I'll tell you what, the Dominican, we were looking at the roster of that team. They've got just about all big leaguers.
All big leaguers, and they didn't treat the Phillies much too kindly today.
But they put
in Clearwater. Last time I looked, it was 13-1.
Wow. Jose Veras will get the start for the Dominican Republic team, and Hiroki Kuroda will start for the Yankees. Coverage begins right here at 1 p.m. on Yes. Braves in the top of the second, they lead 1-0. Dan Uggla, their second baseman, will step in. Uggla takes a pitch down low, ball 1. Uggla has a pretty good eye at the plate. Led the National League in walks last year at 94. Streaky type hitter though, Lou. When he's on, he is dangerous. But he has stretches where he's not doing much at all.
The timing. I'll tell you one thing, he plays hard all the time.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about Dan. He doesn't have a great range at second base, but he positions himself very, very well. He runs everything out. And like you said, when he's on, he can put a charge into the ball in a hurry.
Last year, only 19 home runs. That broke a string of 5 consecutive years with at least 30. Powerful second baseman.
Reminds me a little bit of Brett Boone that I had in Seattle.
Well, you had some hitters on that team, Lou.
Boy, I did, Kenny. I really did.
Bouncing ball foul off the bat of Uggla. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Over a period of time over there, I had Jay Buhner. I had Ken Griffey Jr. I had Edgar Martinez. I had Tino Martinez. I had Alex Rodriguez.
A young Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
19 years old.
Oh, boy. It was fun watching those kids hit.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Uggla becomes Phelps' first strikeout of the night. Remember back, I was doing games on Fox in those days. They used to send me all the way to Seattle from Montreal to do those games, but it was fun getting to the Kingdom and watch those guys hit. Uggla doesn't get much of this. Every weekend, I'd go all the way to Seattle. Then I'd have to go all the way back to Montreal, and I got back to Montreal just in time on Sunday to sit in my seat and do the game on radio.
Boy, I'll tell you.
That's a good thing I was a young man in those days.
Yeah, especially with those midnight flights.
Oh.
Boy.
Here's Chris Johnson, takes a pitch for a strike from Phelps.
You know, that's what made it hard in Seattle, especially late in the season and in the postseason. You get tired from those airplane trips around across country.
Our director John Moore used to work those games with me on Fox, and
then having to face Roger Clemens and Andy Pettit and Mike Messina and Mariano Rivera made you a little more tired.
0-2 on Johnson, and it's in the dirt. Johnson's in a battle for the third base job for the Braves. Of course, that opened up with the retirement of Chipper Jones, who spent almost 2 decades at third base, some outfield for the Braves.
What a great career Chipper had.
Yep, 468 home runs. 1-2 pitch, bouncer, barehanded by Phelps. And the throw to first is in time. I don't think that ball was hit all that hard, but they don't like their pitchers, or usually managers don't like their pitchers sticking their bare hand out to come up with a baseball.
Yeah, you can jam your. There it is right now. It's off. It's a chopper off the end of the bat. But with that spin, I mean, you could do a little damage to your fingers, to your thumb, be out for a while.
Well, in this case, no harm, no foul. And there's 2 up and 2 down here in the second inning. And it'll bring up Tyler Pasternicki. And he takes a pitch in there for a strike. Pasternicki at one time thought he was going to be the Braves shortstop. Now he's more of a utility player. Andrelton Simmons is
Great
the Braves
player.
Yes, he is. He's got pretty good size, power, strong arm, good shortstop. Yeah. Pasternicki had the job and lost it to Simmons last year. And I think Simmons is playing for the Netherlands in the WBC. So that's why he's not in camp right now.
Yeah, Atlanta's got a couple players in that WBC.
Simmons is from Curacao. He's from Curacao. That's why he gets to play for the Netherlands. And that pitch is fouled off. And that team, by the way, is managed by Hensley Bam Bam Mullins.
I had Hensley when I
did?
managed the Yankees. I sure did.
Bert Blyleven's a pitching coach.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, he's a Netherlands guy.
Yeah, he
yeah.
is. If he teaches them all his curveball, they'll have a good team. That was a nasty hook.
Boy, he did have a good hook, didn't he?
Ground ball to third. Corbin Joseph bobbles and will have no play. That's going to be an error on the third baseman with 2 down here, as Pasternicki will reach safely. The Yankees have been having all kinds of problems defensively. Of course, you're seeing a lot of young players that probably be starting the year in the minors.
And you're using them in different positions, moving them around. In between hop here. He had more time. He could have stayed back on that ball.
2 down, runner at first, and here is Matt Pagnozzi, the catcher.
But what a wonderful opportunity for these kids to get a chance to play, though, Kenny. I mean, usually when you go to spring training, especially a Yankee spring training camp, you sit there, and maybe around the 7th or 8th inning, you get a chance to get into the ball game.
Pagnozzi doing the catching. As you mentioned earlier, Lou, that Brian McCann, the all-star catcher for the Braves, off-season shoulder surgery. They expect him back in May, but about the first month, maybe month and a half, the Braves will be without their all-star catcher. Little slow roll it towards short for Nunez. He's going to flip it to second just in time to get the speedy Pasternicki, and that'll do it for the Braves here in the second inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and 1 man left. The end of the inning and a half, 1-0 Atlanta. 2013 season are now on sale at Yankees.com and through Ticketmaster. Get your tickets today to see the Yankees take on the American League, as well as some great interleague matchups, including the Dodgers and the Giants. And don't miss the 67th annual Old Timers Day on Sunday, June 23rd. To purchase tickets, visit Yankees.com or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Lou, you looking forward to Old Timers Day?
Well, I am. I just got my invitation. I was talking to Gene Michael.
Stick
is going to be there this year, and he asked me if I wanted it at bat. And I said, as long as I don't get Jeff Nelson, I might consider it.
Dan Johnson only gets one pitch, and he'll line out to the right fielder Jason Hayward. One pitch and one out here in the second inning. So you don't like Jeff dropping down.
Well, we had Jeff in Seattle, and we traded him to the Yankees.
Yeah.
He won some world championships over here with New York, but he did. He dropped down on me, and I tell you what, he had to be throwing the ball 86, 87 with some sink.
I saw Jeff the other day. He looks exactly the same. He looks like he could walk out there and pitch. Here's Zoilo Almonte, who the Yankees are very high on. Switch hitting outfielder. He's had a home run this spring. Hit 15 home runs last year. And drove in 77 runs and 18 steals. He's got some power and speed.
Yeah, the Yankees have some young outfielders that are probably not quite ready now, but in the near future.
Yeah, they are trending in the right direction. Tyler Austin, Slade Heathcock, Mason Williams. Jam shot, and it's just behind second, where Ugla will run it down for out number 2. So quickly, 2 outs for the Yankees here in the bottom of the second inning. I should mention for you fans that Jack Curry is going to join us in the third inning, and Jack will have all the news of the day around Yankee land, and we'll pick Jack's brain, and well, he is tuned into the clubhouse. Here's Corbin Joseph. I saw Joseph play second base the other day. Tonight he's at third. 15 homers last year in the minor leagues. That pitch is in there for a call strike. Hit hard towards the middle. Ugla with the dive cannot come up with it, and it's in the center field for a base hit. So Corbin Joseph keeps the inning going with the 2-out single. Lou, I wanted to ask you real quickly here, do you like the WBC? What do you think of it?
Well, to me, it's got its pros and it's got its cons. I'm not trying to waffle. Look, it's great for national pride. The commissioner is doing a wonderful job of expanding the role of Major League Baseball all over the world. Now, are these players quite ready to perform at that level this early in spring training? You're asking a heck of a lot out of them. I would say that baseball is doing the right thing with this WBC. You know, it gives the spring training games, I mean, the schedules are longer. It gives younger players chances to play early in the spring. But at the same time, I think, and I know that you look at statistics and they tell you no, but I think you risk an injury early in spring training.
Even more so.
I think so. I really do. A pitcher trying to overthrow the ball a little bit, a hitter or an outfielder trying to make a spectacular play.
Or running the bases a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
Outside to Brett Gardner, who's up there. Gardner had a single his first time up, leading off the ball game for the Yankees in the first inning. Count is 2-1 on the Yankee center fielder.
But you got teams from all over the world.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. Spain. In fact, you know, the Spanish team this winter called me to see if I was interested in putting on the uniform. And
ground ball towards the middle, and Gardner has his second straight hit. Turning at second, headed for third is Corbin Joseph. And the Yankees have runners on the corners with 2 outs. So what'd you tell them?
And manage Spain. Well, you know, my folks are from Spain.
Okay.
So, and I told them, I said, you know, let me consider it. But I had to be gone for quite a bit of time. I think you had training in Belgium, from there down to Boca Raton. But the Spanish team, you know, I didn't see a Nadal or Sergio Garcia.
No, yeah.
But I wish them well. I really do. You know, they've got a lot of young players on that team. And, you know, Spain is a country where the weather is very conducive to playing baseball, especially in the southern half of it. So let's see how they perform here in the WBC.
Pitch Ichiro's low and away for a ball. Of course, Ichiro from Japan.
They always have a good team in Japan.
They won the first 2 WBCs.
Yeah.
Japanese teams have performed very well.
Well, they play year round, which really helps too.
First and third, Yankees down by a run with 2 outs here in the second. Ichiro takes a pitch for a called strike, and it's 1-1.
You know, they play good defense. They get good pitching. Got some good contact hitting. It's very conducive for this type of tournament.
It should be interesting to see how you know, countries that have the most major leaguers perform. Like you said, some of these guys aren't quite ready. Maybe
it takes a veteran player a little longer. It really does.
Do you think maybe they should have it at a different time of year?
You know, towards the end of spring training, to me, would be a heck of a lot better.
Runner goes from first. The pitch is low for a ball, and the Yankees were thinking about double steal. The throw to third, and Joseph is picked off.
Well, there's a young player's mistake. Gardner had that base stolen very easily at second base.
So Joseph, anticipating the throw to second, falls for the fake and is thrown out.
I've been out there most of my life. You name it, I've hooked it. But there's one.
We bring on Jack Curry here in the top of the third inning. Some news and notes from Steinbrenner Field. Mark Teixeira out of the WBC with a wrist injury. These are all medical things. Granderson will play center field when he comes back. Phil Hughes, 50 pitches from flat ground on Monday, and Brian Cashman, leg and ankle injuries, skydiving. Where do you want to go first, Jack? You want to talk about Mark Teixeira?
I think you have to start with Mark Teixeira. That's the one that impacted the Yankees most recently and hurt himself with the WBC. Kenny, Joe Girardi talking to us about it before the game and saying that Teixeira hurt himself on a swing. Simply during a swing, he felt something in the batting cage while working out in Arizona with Team USA. And you could tell while Joe Girardi was speaking to us in the dugout that this didn't sound good for Teixeira in terms of WBC. The Yankees hope that it's just something minor going forward and that it's not bad news for them for the rest of the spring.
You know, in a way, Jack, it makes you think back to, was it last August and Jose Bautista of Toronto Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium? That looked serious. I hope Teixeira didn't walk off in that much pain. Yeah,
Teixeira didn't address reporters after the incident. He left to come back, and he'll be examined by Yankee doctors in New York tomorrow. He did put a tweet out on Twitter recently and just said he's very disappointed to not be able to compete in the WBC. Go USA. But he didn't say anything further about how he feels. And we're hoping to talk to Brian Cashman later tonight and maybe get a little more insight from him about Teixeira's situation.
Speaking of Brian Cashman, he suffered a major injury yesterday.
And, you know, he did this, Kenny, the skydiving that we talked about, jumping out of an airplane. He did this to bring awareness to the Wounded Warrior Project. So everything about it was great. Some of the Yankee players, Phil Hughes, saying what a nice charitable endeavor. But then to come away with the injury that he did, he's going to be laid up for a while. He's going to have some rehab. He's going to have to deal with those fibula and ankle injuries. And I guess the thing that's troublesome for him is it happened on his second leap out of the plane. He got through one clear. He got through one okay. And some of the writers who were there were saying that as we take a look at Brian in the hospital.
Well, he's had surgery on ankle and leg, and certainly want to wish Brian a quick recovery and back here at Steinbrenner Field doing his job. I guess that cell phone will be even closer to him now.
It has to be. Well, that's what Girardi said. He said, listen, he's not going to prevent him from doing his job, but it's going to make the job a little more difficult. And broken right fibula, which Andy Pettit had fibula injury last year, and the dislocated right ankle.
So Jordan Schaefer draws a leadoff walk here at the top of the third inning in a 1-0 game for the Atlanta Braves.
Well, Jack and Kenny, when we played, that wouldn't have been possible because skydiving was a no-no in our contract. And it probably is on the players' contracts of today. Well, maybe not for the general manager. It's something we're going to have to start putting in general managers' contracts.
Well, Lou, you were a general manager at one time. You think Mr. Steinbrenner would have let you jump out of a plane?
Probably. Yeah, it depended on how the team was doing.
Yeah.
Well, there was some video of Brian before he leaped, and I must say I was fascinated by it, watching him sitting, and they were climbing higher and higher. And the gentleman who jumped with him from the Golden Knights was telling him, okay, we're at 6,000. We're halfway there.
Runner goes. The throw to second is wide, and Schaefer's going to be in with a stolen base. So he's using that great speed. He had 27 steals a year ago and picks up a stolen base here.
You know, this past summer I was in Wyoming and in Jackson Hole, and we went hot air ballooning. And when that balloon got up to about 8,000 feet, the cattle looked like ants on the floor. I kept saying to myself, let's get this thing back down to earth. So jumping from that distance.
Let's see. Let's move on to pitching now to Phil Hughes. I know that maybe he's getting a little closer.
He was very encouraged, Kenny, before the game today. You could see, as we see a pickoff throw, and that was close. Phelps, nice move, getting his feet moving quickly there.
You know, sometimes the good base stealers, they'll try and catch you unaware. After stealing one base, they'll go right away for the next one. They feel encouraged that they can make it. Here's a look at the pickoff move.
Actually, if that throw had been to the shortstop side a second, he would have been out.
Inside to Jason Hayward, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So back to Phil Hughes.
Kenny, he said that he ramped up the intensity a little bit today, as we showed in the graphic earlier. Threw about 50 pitches off flat ground. That might not sound like much, but again, Hughes was very encouraged. He said he's throwing from 60 to 90 feet. He said he doesn't have a date to throw off a mound yet, but he continues to feel that the opening week and being in the rotation by then is a strong possibility.
Ground ball to first. Dan Johnson steps on the bag, but once again, Jason Hayward advances a leadoff runner over to third base. Second time he's done that tonight. First time it led to a run.
2 good productive at bats. 2 productive outs.
And the thing about Hughes, too, guys, he said, listen, we're moving very slowly. He said physically he could have gotten on a mound today, but the Yankees have told him, yes, opening day is April 1st, but you're just as important to us on April 10th as you are on April 1st. So take your time, get back to where you need to be. Don't be 95%. Be 100%. We want you to be able to make all of your starts this season.
Yankees bring the infield in against Justin Upton, who drove in a run his first time, and he swings and misses strike one. Now, we saw Derek Jeter hitting before the ball game today, and to me, he looked like Derek Jeter should look.
He looks good. He still wants to do some more things in terms of running the bases and complete some drills there, but Joe Girardi continues to float the idea of March 10th. Sometime around March 10th, we may see Jeter in his first spring training game, and if that happens, whether it's a day later, a day earlier, or right around that, that gives about 3 weeks, and Jeter has said all along that's enough time for him to be ready for the season opener.
Well, on March the 11th, there's a game right here on Yes, I believe.
You're lobbying? You're going to have Joe Girardi on later in the game. You can lobby.
That pitch is high for a ball.
And how's Mariano coming along?
Rivera, Lou, may throw in a game tomorrow. It sounds as if he comes in tomorrow and tells Joe Girardi he's ready to pitch, his first spring appearance may be against the Dominican Republic, another game that we'll be covering tomorrow and we'll have right here on Yes. So for Yankee fans looking to get their first glimpse of Rivera, they might see it tomorrow.
Phelps bears down and strikes out Upton. Now the infield can drop back with 2 outs. A big strikeout for David Phelps. His second. Jack, he's been pitching very well down here.
He really has been. I talked to Chris Stewart before the game about Phelps, and he said the thing he likes about Phelps is no fear on the mound. He's a bulldog. And he said, listen, he's going to throw all 4 pitches. Now, the changeup is his 4th best pitch, so he doesn't go to that as often. But Stewart likes calling a game with Phelps because he said in whatever situation he's in, he can pretty much put down any finger. And he cited his last outing against the Toronto Blue Jays, 3-2 curveball that Phelps threw to Jose Bautista. He said he didn't hesitate. I put it down, and he threw it.
Inside for a ball to Freddie Freeman.
Pretty good live fastball, too.
And one thing I like, well, 96 strikeouts in 99 2/3 innings last year. That shows you he can blow it by a few people.
Very versatile. Pitched out of the bullpen, pitched in rotation. Good looking young pitcher.
Ball is drilled but foul. Nothing but a loud strike, and it's 2-1.
Well, we're talking about Hughes' situation, and it sounds like maybe Austin Romine made the play down there. Kenny, it looks like it at least. We're talking about Hughes' situation. Whatever happens with Phil Hughes and Ivan Nova at the back of the rotation, Phelps looms as a very big piece for the Yankees this year because, as Lou said, he can start, he can come out of the bullpen. You get an injury, you know you can slide him in there at the back of the rotation. He's done it before. It's nothing that's going to rattle him.
2-1 pitch is hit on the ground, knocked down by the first baseman Johnson, covering his Phelps, and they make the play. A little bit of a hug. No harm, no foul. And the Braves do not score here in the top of the 3rd. Phelps does a good job with a runner at 3rd and 1 out to get out of the jam. Here's a look at Dan Johnson. Knocks it down. Flips over the first backhanded for the play. It remains 1-0 ATL over the Yankees. Basketball fans, tomorrow night the Nets look to take care of business in Charlotte with a captivating matchup against Kemba Walker and the Bobcats. Coverage on Yes starts at 6:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame. The Night Eagle and Jim Spanarkel. All the action from courtside. That's only on Yes. Dan Johnson, there he is in the dugout talking. It's Don Wakamatsu, former manager of the Seattle Mariners. Here's Ichiro, who was taking a pitch in there for a strike. Ichiro was at the plate when Corbin Joseph was picked off at 3rd.
Wakamatsu's doing some scouting for the Yankees now.
With an invite to spring training.
They brought a few of their scouts in.
Now, Jack, we've got Eduardo Nunez coming up this inning, and he's been an interesting story this spring. primarily because he's gotten to play a lot of shortstop. With the absence of Derek Jeter, ball is fouled off by Ichiro. But I know Mick Keller has been working with Nunez all season long. One thing was Nunez can hit, he can run, but his defense is somewhat shaky. They're trying to shore that up.
They are, Kenny, and what they're doing is they're trying to get him to short arm the ball to first. Basically eliminate some of the complications that he has gotten into in throwing the ball to first base. And what do we talk about all the time with pitchers? Mariano Rivera, the reason, multiple reasons why he's great, but same release point every time. He repeats his delivery. The Yankees want Nunez to do that when he's playing on the left side of the field, shortstop or third base. They don't want him to bring the ball back behind his shoulder and fire it. They want him to stop right about near his head and just throw the ball from there. Talked to him about it before the game, and he said, listen, I see progress and I see more accurate throws, but he was honest. He said, this is uncomfortable for me. I have to get used to it. For over 20 years, I've been used to just fielding the ball, rearing back and gunning it. Now I've got to be more under control. So he's trying to follow everything Kelleher is telling him, and so far he likes the results.
Broken bat roll it is short for Pasternak. He throws on the run, makes a nice play, and throws out to Speedy Ichiro, one down.
Kenny, I've said the same thing about my golf swing.
What?
I'm trying to find that same release point on my golf swing all the time.
Well, you should talk to Mick Kelleher. He might be able to help you out. The thing about it is I was watching Nunez today, and I was speaking to Mick Kelleher, and he explained the same thing to me. And he says, watch him now. He's a lot better at it than he said at the beginning of spring training. He'd bring his hand all the way behind his back to throw the ball. And we know from time to time it could go just about anywhere.
Yeah, and there's more movement on those throws. They're harder to field at first base. Shortstop's just a tough position to play on the baseball field. It's a long throw. You can't bobble the ball.
And with Jeter coming back from the injury and Joe Girardi hinting that he'd like to use Jeter as a DH a little more often than he has in the past, I mean, Nunez is going to be out there. Nunez is their backup shortstop. He's the guy that they are going to put out there on the days where Jeter can't play or when Jeter is the DH. And you want to feel secure when the ball is hit to him that it's an out. And the Yankees are trying to get him to that point from the throwing side.
2 balls and a strike on Jason Nix.
Yeah, usually your backup shortstop is a guy that's got great hands, very accurate throwing arm. He just can't hit very well.
I don't think hitting's a problem with Nunez.
No, he's got a live bat. Live bat.
It pitches high for ball. He's about the only Yankee hitting to the championship series against the Detroit Tigers.
He spent another offseason working out with Robinson Cano in the Dominican. It's about 2 hours from his home, so he basically goes and lives there for 2 months in San Pedro de Macorís and works out with Cano and Cano's dad, as we see Nix work out that walk. When he was telling me, and I was there a couple years ago to watch them, but when he was telling me the workout of what they do, I was getting tired just listening to him. Said they get up in the morning and they do some running. Then they work on speed and agility drills. Then they go to the field and they work on their arms. They throw, they long toss a little bit. Then they take ground balls, dozens and dozens of ground balls. After that, they hit. After that, they break for lunch. And then he says they gather again later in the day to go to the gym and lift weights. So it is a full day.
All that before lunch?
No, they break for lunch after some fielding workouts. Then they hit, and then a little bit of weight work after that as well. But I mean, he talked about it. It's a 10, 12-hour day, and then it's back to the resort where he was staying. Go to bed.
And that's 7 days a week?
5 days a week.
5 days a week. Okay.
That's like boot camp. Here's Travis Hafner, who drew a walk his first time up, and he swings and lifts one high in the air. The short center field. Pasternak and Ugla are back. Coming on as the center fielder, it's going to be Ugla who makes the catch for the out. And it's out number 2 here in the bottom of the third.
Jack, I'm tired just listening. You described the routine.
It was interesting, this field that they play on, too, to have Robinson Cano, one of, the best 10 players in baseball. I mean, it is a field with piles of dirt in the outfield, and you had some dogs running around, some stray dogs on the field. The local kids want to come and see the major leaguers, so it was Cano was there, and Nunez was there, and Cervelli, so they're all out by the fence watching. And then you have a bunch of young kids who are shagging fly balls in the outfield who want to be able to go home that day and say, hey, guess what, Dad? I caught a ball hit by Robinson Cano.
Nunez takes one low and inside for ball. He drew a walk his first time up. These guys come to spring training for a break. Eduardo Nunez, his errors, you can see that well, he's going to have to work on a lot of those are throwing errors. Nix is on the run. To throw to second is not in time. Jason Nix picks up a stolen base.
Again, just a great jump. Stole the base on the pitcher. Didn't give Pagnozzi any chance at all. And Pagnozzi's got a pretty nice arm.
Now, Jack, you saw Jason Nix just steal second. Now, who's going to be the backup choice? Is it Nix or Nunez?
I think right now, the way that it's shaping up, if you look at how Joe Girardi is making out his lineups, Nunez is the guy getting the bulk of the reps. So I think it has to be Nunez. And I think when you talk to Yankee officials in the offseason, when it became clear that A-Rod wasn't going to be ready and they were looking for a third base option, they eliminated Nunez from that because they said they need Nunez to be their backup shortstop or their insurance in case something happens to Jeter. So I think they see Nunez as the backup shortstop.
And Nix kind of falls into the category of moving all around the field.
Absolutely. Okay. And what's interesting about that is I was talking to Nunez about that, and he said he's taking ground balls on the left side only. And I said, nothing at second base anymore. And he said, Robbie plays every day. And he's right. Cano's pretty much booked for about 160 games a year.
Here's Chris Stewart. Yankees have 2 on with no hits in this inning. Mahalam has dealt out 4 walks, 2 of them this inning. And he misses high. Ball 1 to Stewart.
Stewart had a pretty good at bat that first time up with the bases loaded. Got a 3-1 pitch and lined out to Upton in left field.
Tell you what, Mahalam's pitch count has gotten up there. 65 pitches. Roger McDowell, pitching coach for the Braves. He's the one with the pen, and to his left, manager Freddie Gonzalez in his 3rd year with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, Roger does a very nice job with Atlanta pitchers.
Got some good pitchers to work with. Atlanta usually
really good arms.
Yeah,
yes.
Atlanta usually does have some good pitching. Going back to the days of Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox. Even before that with Phil Niekro. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Chris Stewart.
Yeah, before the ball game, I saw Gator Gar running around.
Yeah, it's good to see him again.
Freddie McGriff, Brian Jordan. They brought some star power over here.
Ball is lined to left field once again. Upton. Well, he made the catch, according to the third base umpire, Manny Gonzalez. Justin Upton, for the 2nd time, catches a line drive off the bat of Chris Stewart with men on base. Still 1-0 Atlanta. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Atlanta over the Yankees. It's time for the Atlanta Braves team scouting report brought to you by Tri Honda. Very strong outfield. All three players capable of a 20-20 for sure, maybe even 30-30. 30 home runs, 30 steals. Good starting pitchers. When you look at the Braves rotation, led by Tim Hudson, Chris Medlin, Mike Minor, Paul Mahalam, Brendan Beachy should be back after Tommy John surgery sometime, and an excellent bullpen led by Craig Kimbrell, who was something to behold as far as a reliever. This guy in his career has struck out more than half the batters that he's faced. Game over.
You know, what three teams, what team in baseball can boast three Gold Glove outfielders in the same outfield? I haven't heard of it.
Well, here's B.J. Upton, who's a designated hitter tonight. He swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Jack, I want to get your thoughts on the Atlanta Braves coming into this year.
Well, I look at that National League East, and the first two teams in the East that you think of are the Nationals and the Braves. And then I might extend it all the way to the rest of the National League. They might be the two best teams in the league. And I know with the Giants being defending champions, people will say, how could you not say they're one of the best teams in the National League? But I look at the Braves and the Nationals as 95-plus win teams in 2013, and the Nats won 98 last year, so it's not like I'm going out on a limb here, but I like what the Braves did. I think the Upton brothers are going to be a nice combination. We'll get a chance to see that arm we were talking about.
It's strong. It gets to Speedy Upton for out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
And I think sometimes we talk about it and you lose sight of it, and you guys played at the major league level. We're going to see it again here, and let's see how far back he goes. Yeah, he did bring it back a little, not as much as he has in the past.
Double clutch the throw too.
Just over that back shoulder and right shoulder, and nice scoop by Dan Johnson on the other end for the out.
I watched the Upton brothers finish some BP and walk across the field today, and I just thought to myself, we talk about it, two brothers playing in the same outfield. Wow, isn't that cool? But when you take a second and think about it, that's unbelievable. It's amazing that you make it to the major leagues, your brother makes it to the major leagues, and then you get a chance to play together. What a cool experience.
Uggla grounds to third, and he is out number 2. Now, there have been some other brothers that have played together on the same team, and you know, I know, Jack, this is before your time, but I can remember the Alou brothers playing on the same team. Lloyd and Paul Wainer, Hank and Tommy Aaron, Felipe, Jesus, and Matty, all three of them on the same team with the San Francisco Giants back in the early 60s. All three of them batted in order against the New York Mets, and the Mets retired the whole family.
Hank and Tommy Aaron?
Yeah.
I played with the Alou brothers in Stratomatic. So I remember the Alou brothers from my Stratomatic days. When I rolled the dice, I was always looking for one of those guys to get a hit.
Here's Chris Johnson, and that pitch is high for a ball. So there have been a number of situations where brothers have played on the same team, but not to the extent. There's Jesus on the left, the late Matty Alou in the middle, and Felipe Alou, who went on to become a good manager with the Giants and the Montreal Expos.
Well, one thing is certain, none of them got paid as well as these two brothers.
No. Probably the whole team in those days didn't get paid that well. Here's Chris Johnson, who grounded back to the mound his first time. High and away for a ball, and it's 3 balls and a strike. David Phelps into his 4th inning of work has allowed just 1 run on 2 hits, but the Braves have the lead 1-0.
I mean, a very impressive performance.
Yeah, he's trying to make a bid for the rotation. Pitch is hit in the air towards right field. Almonte makes the catch, and Phelps goes out in style. If this is his last inning, it's a 1-2-3 inning. Yankees will batting in the bottom of the 4th, looking for at least 1 run. Mazda upcoming schedule for ball games here on Yes. Tomorrow afternoon, 1:05. We'll be right back here at Steinbrenner Field as the Yankees take on the Dominican Republic team, which is headed to the World Baseball Classic. Our next game will be Saturday, and it'll be these very same Atlanta Braves right back here at Tampa to take on the Yankees. And then on the 11th, the St. Louis Cardinals, followed by the Phillies on the 13th. The Marlins will be in at Steinbrenner Field on the 15th, and then the Phillies, 12:05 start on the 16th. It's kind of a comfortable night here in Tampa. You know, we're not freezing. I think that the local people here think it's a little chilly, but here's Dan Johnson, and Mahalam's still in there. Pitch is in there for a strike.
You know, talking about the Marlins, Tino Martinez, the new hitting coach over there with Miami. He's really enjoying his job. I think he'll do a really good job also.
But he knows his hitting.
He knows his hitting.
0-2 now on Johnson. Now, Jack, I know you got a note on Andy Pettit's son, who continues to open some eyes, doesn't he?
Unbelievable. He threw a no-hitter in his first high school start this year down in Houston. Andy told me in his second start, Jared Pettit had a perfect game into the 6th inning, and a kid reached base on an infield hit. Andy got the chance, something that players don't always get the chance to do. He got the chance to fly home yesterday, and he saw Jared close out a game. So he gave me the stats. He thinks these are right, but unofficially, Jared Pettit this year, 16 innings pitched, 26 strikeouts, 2 hits allowed, and they're both infield hits. So that might explain why Andy said there were 12 to 15 scouts at his last start from major league teams.
Ball and 2 strikes. Now, do you think Andy can envision him pitching long enough that eventually he'll be on the same pitching staff with his son, or at least pitching in the major leagues at the same time his son is?
You're allowed to dream at the age of 40, right? Why not? Why not?
Ground ball foul. Now, I'm sure Ken Griffey Sr. did not think that he was going to play with his son. And not only did they play together, they hit back-to-back home runs.
It would take some doing because Andy's 40 and Jared's a high school senior. So if he were to get drafted, he'd obviously have to start in rookie ball somewhere. But, hey, even if he ever got the chance to be in camp and be an instructor while his son was pitching for a team, I'm sure he'd take that.
Johnson fouls another pitch off. It'll be Johnson, Almonte, and Joseph for the Yankees.
What size does his son have?
He's about 6'1", 180. Andy told me he throws about 89. He's 86 to 89. He's occasionally touched 90. He also throws a cutter. He's going on a baseball scholarship to Baylor. He already has that in his pocket, but you have to see what happens in the draft now.
He's a right-handed starter.
Right-handed starter. Andy's other son, Josh, is a lefty. He also pitches for the sophomore team, but Andy said that the thing that really propelled Jared is he had a great summer playing on a select team. Didn't even allow a run. So he was going up against some of the best players in Texas and never gave up a run. And he said that has really helped propel him into the high school season.
Baylor's got a nice baseball program, too.
They do. Anytime a majority of major league players, of course, come from the warm weather states: Florida, Arizona, Texas, California.
A lot of good players coming out of Georgia.
Another warm weather state. Call strike 3 on Dan Johnson. Now the Braves actually scout Georgia better than any other team. A lot of their players come out of the state of Georgia. Hayward, McCann, they want players from their own area. It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Here's Zoilo Almonte, who popped up his first time, takes a pitch for a strike. Yankees are down 1-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They have out hit the Braves 3-2. Both starting pitchers have done a very good job tonight. Paul Mahalam for the Braves and David Phelps for the Yankees.
Kenny, we see the way the Yankees are configured tonight with Gardner in center field, Ichiro in left field, Almonte in right field. Girardi was talking before the game that while they wait for Granderson to return, he's basically going to need Gardner and Ichiro to be able to flip. He might need Ichiro in right and left. He might need Gardner in left and center. And then he's going to have that third outfielder, depending on who it is. Is it a Melky Mesa? Is it an Almonte? Is it a Rivera or a Matt Diaz? So his mainstays, Gardner and Ichiro, they're going to have to work around whoever that third guy ends up being.
Maybe that third guy's not in camp.
Always possible, too.
Always possible.
One thing we see tonight with Ichiro in left field, to me, left field at Yankee Stadium is much more difficult than right field to play. Maybe that's why Ichiro's in left. You got Almonte in right. I played left field at Yankee Stadium a few times. I did not like it over there. There's just too much ground for me to cover.
It's a little shorter now than it was a few years back, but it is. It's a much harder. I played both. Left field is much harder.
Almonte swings and misses on a ball in the dirt and is struck out. Mahalam.
You know, it surprises. He's still out there. 81 pitches. I mean, okay, here comes the manager.
82 is the limit.
Yeah, that's a lot of pitches here for 3 starts into spring training.
So Paul Mahalam out of the game, and he takes with him a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back. Field with the Atlanta Braves leading the Yankees 1-0. New pitcher in the ball game for Atlanta. It is Christian Martinez who takes over with 2 outs and a man on. Here in the 4th inning, Paul Mahalam, 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, a couple of strikeouts, 4 walks. That was what Martinez did last year. 73 2/3 innings, 65 Ks, 6 home runs allowed, 80 hits.
Long guy, innings pitcher. Change up. Best pitch. Take the ball.
Braves have always had strong pitching. It's
been a staple in that organization.
Corbin Joseph is the batter, and he's swinging at the first offering and fouls it off. Joseph would have himself a base hit his first time up. Now Jack with Gardner originally supposed to move to center. Granderson was supposed to play left, but now Joe Girardi's talking about flipping him back.
He is. The Yankees think that Granderson will probably miss about 5 weeks of the regular season. And the way Girardi explains it is that when Granderson comes back, he wants him to be ready to go. Well, Granderson has been a center fielder, so come back and let him go to the position that he's most comfortable at. I guess the thing about that you wonder is Granderson is going to have to do some sort of rehab, whether it's extended spring or some minor league games. So I wondered, could he become a left fielder in that setting? And it didn't sound like Girardi wanted that. I asked him that before the game, and he wanted this chunk of spring training to evaluate Granderson in left.
Martinez makes the play, and there's one down. Jack, I want to thank you. Excellent reporting as usual. At the end of 4, it is 1-0 Atlanta. Moving on to the top of the fifth inning, Braves leading Yankees by a score 1-0. And here in spring training, the manager Joe Girardi is kind enough to join us. And Lou and myself have a few questions for you, Joe. And you got a little bit more bad news today with Mark Teixeira. What are your thoughts and what have you heard? Yeah,
he hurt his wrist. He's got a sprained wrist. He's going back to New York to be examined by our doctors. We think that's probably the best bet, the best thing to do. And we'll probably have some more information. I don't know, maybe late tomorrow night or the next day because he's flying from Arizona.
Well, hopefully you're hoping for the best, of course. And
yeah, I mean, we're just hoping that it's just a minor thing and he'll be out for a little bit and we'll get him back here in spring training.
Now, before the game, I know you were out here watching your team take batting practice and moving around the field. One player that I've seen that looks pretty good is Derek Jeter. Is he getting close?
Yeah, he is getting close, and I've tried not to put a date on Derek. I've tried to just say when he says he's ready, he's ready. When our training staff says he's ready, he's ready. But I think he's getting closer every day. We've had no setbacks, and he looks pretty good.
Tonight's pitcher, tonight's starting pitcher,
David Phelps.
Outstanding. Man,
yeah, he's been outstanding. And you know what? This kid has grown so much since what we saw in spring training in 2011. You think about what he did last year. We moved him all over the place, long relief, an inning at a time. You know, and this is a guy that's not used to coming in the middle of innings, some spot starting. He's done a real good job for us.
Jabba's looked pretty good this spring as well. Ball flied out to right field. Coming over for a look is Almonte. He won't be able to get it.
Yeah, I mean, Jabba's big on our pen too. I mean, we need this kid to kind of pick up where he left off last year. You look at his last 6 or 7 outings; they were outstanding last year. And we believe that our bullpen could be one of our strengths.
Has he got a specific assignment in the bullpen for you?
Well, I'd like to see him take one of those later innings. Basically, you know, you look at the 7th, 8th, 9th. I'd like to see him gobble one of those innings up for us.
Joe, how about Itcher on left field?
Well, I mean, you know, he is our right fielder, but depending on who we take, you know, to replace Granderson for a while, if the person that we take is more comfortable in right, you know, then we can move each to left. If he's more comfortable in center, then each will stay in right.
Throwing error by the third baseman Corbin Joseph, and the runner will be safe. Pasternicki's safe on the throwing error.
And then Gardy would go to left. So, you know, it's just moving these guys around to be prepared to do whatever they have to do come April 1st.
Mariano has been throwing on the side. Andy Pettit, we have yet to see either one of them in the ball game. Are they getting close?
Yeah, I think Andy's got a simulated game coming up fairly soon here. I think Mo, we're going to shoot for Saturday now. We talked about maybe doing Wednesday. We're just going to go to Saturday. We're not going to rush it. We have plenty of time. So he'll go on Saturday, I believe, and both of them look really good. We're pleased with where they're at.
Kenny exchanging that lineup, 529 home runs.
Yeah, I noticed that before the game. You were out exchanging the lineup, Joe, with Fred McGriff, and we added it all up. There were 529 home runs.
Well, yeah, you know, I had to get Freddie over the 500 mark. That's what I did. I'm just there to help Freddie, and I look at the numbers Freddie put up. I mean, I think Freddie should be considered for the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you totally.
I mean, this guy was a run producer. I had a chance to play with him in Chicago. What a wonderful teammate he was. Loved playing with him.
Local product out of Tampa, just as Lou Piniella is. Ground ball to second. This could be 2. Flip to Nunez on the first, and there's a double play.
Well, that's nice that you pick up Corbin Joseph there. Jabba gets the ground ball, and you know, when you make an error, you hope that someone picks you up and it doesn't lead to a run, and that's what those guys just did.
Now, you mentioned that Derek Jeter's on the horizon here, and when he comes back, you know, you got Ichiro, you've got Brett Gardner, and then you got the captain. There's like 3 going into 2 at the top of the order.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we're going to have to figure that out, and so much of it depends on Derek, where Derek is, how many days in a row can he play. You know, is he going to be our shortstop? What is he going to be? So we'll worry about that when we get closer. My big thing is let's just get him back healthy, and that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. When you have somebody who led the major leagues in hits last year, you're going to plug him in the lineup, but
you'll find a spot.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that.
And I see where he's going to DH a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to DH some against some of the left-handers, and just to help him out and keep him fresh.
Jabba, what a nice comeback following the error, Joe. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Right. So the Yankees trail 1-0. Jabba Chamberlain gets a double play and then a jam shot off Jordan Schaefer.
That looks pretty good. Salt or no salt, Kenny?
I got to go with the no salt. Probably with the no pretzel either. Here's Brett Gardner leading it off, and Gardner's 2 for 2. He's had a couple of singles.
Well, 2 good at bats. His first at bat to start the ball game was 9 pitches. And in spring training, you like to see long at bats. The more pitches you see, the more you're prepared.
Christian Martinez deals a slider down and in, and it's a ball and a strike to Gardner. It'll be followed by Ichiro and then Jason Nix.
You know, in spring training, I always like to take pitches, Kenny. I always like to take pitches. I mean, you could always hit the first pitch fastball. But if you saw a breaking ball, if you saw a changeup, if you saw a slider.
You know, I think that when I tried to hone in my strike zone and make sure I wasn't chasing pitches out of the zone. And then, you know, they start that way you get pitches in the middle of the plate you can handle. Brett Gardner, by the way, hitting .611 this spring. Here's ball 3.
Well, one thing I remember, Kenny, you had a great eye. Great eye. Very patient, very selective.
I was told by my manager to get on base for Eddie Murray. Gardner hits one well to left field. He's going to chase up and back. He turns and then reroutes and makes the catch for out number 1. Yankee fans, bring your family, friends, or business associates to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in the individual game suite. Individual game suites can accommodate groups as small as 12 and up to 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com/suites today. Here's Ichiro, 0 for 2. He's reached on a fielder's choice and grounded to short. Takes a pitch outside for a ball.
I notice he's got a gray back shoe, and he's got a blue front shoe. Is there two-tone shoes? Is there anything to that, Kenny?
Yeah, don't step on my two-tone shoes.
Oh, they're split in half.
Yeah,
there you go.
how about
there
that?
you go. How about that? Neato.
Hit well to right field. Hayward on the run is not going to get this one. The ball is up against the wall, and Ichiro, with a rocket double off the wall in right center field, is in with a 2-base hit. Lou, remember when Ichiro wouldn't pull the ball and you got him to pull?
Well, the interpreter got him to pull. I'll tell you what, that was a good piece of hitting here by Ichiro. He drives his ball a long way. Good fastball down and in the strike zone, and I mean, he went out and got it. Shoes up. Look at that. I love that little leg kick he has.
Shoes on the move right here.
Yeah, I remember spring training. We had Ichiro first year. And he was hitting the ball okay, but, you know, he was hitting everything to left field.
Gotcha.
And I remember when I played for Billy Martin, he always wanted to see a guy pull the ball a few times in spring training to see if his bat was quick, so forth. So I went to the interpreter and I said, "Can you do me a favor? See if Ichiro can pull the ball." So they talked for a while. They nodded and so forth. About 2 innings later, Ichiro leads off. First pitch, he hits it into the right field bullpen. He runs around the bases. I shake his hand. He said, "Happy now?" I said, "Yeah, you can do anything you want the rest of the spring."
Well, certainly Yankee fans were happy with him last year at 322 after coming to the Yankees.
Yeah, he did a wonderful job. Just a professional player. Loves to play, plays every day.
Right now represents the tying run at second. Jason Nix takes a pitch for a strike, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, at what, 37, 38? I mean, he is in great shape.
Last year he played 162 games.
Unbelievable.
And he's done that 4 times in his career. And he's had 4 other seasons where he's missed 1 game. You don't get all those hits by sitting on the bench watching ball games. Check swing off the bat of Jason Nix. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, when I had him in Seattle, I'm serious. When he hit a ball where an infielder had to go 2 or 3 steps either way, he beat it out.
Game over, huh?
Game over. It had to play him a little shallower, and then he'd just drive the ball right by him.
Now, I know this is spring training, but this is a situation where he might be thinking about stealing third during the regular season.
Yeah, they're really not holding him on.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 2001 Rookie of the Year. That's when Lou Piniella had him. And the MVP, by the way. 350 with 242 hits, 56 steals. 10-time All-Star. 2007 All-Star MVP. 10 Gold Gloves. 262 hits in 2004. That's a major league record, fans. And the last one was 200 plus hits in 10 seasons? That's my guess, 10. That is quite a resume. And Lou, I think he's going to have to use that interpreter 5 years after he retires.
I think so too, Kenny.
For that Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, he's certainly a candidate for that, and I would vote for him.
Pitch is fouled off. I would too, for sure. Remember the day he got traded? The Yankees, of course, were in Seattle. All he had to do was walk from one clubhouse to the other. And the fans in right field, there was a lady that held the Ichimeter sign. You know, it went up for a number of hits he had during the course of the season. And at the end of the series, she was in tears. And he took a ball and flipped the ball up to her and waved goodbye. And that was his last game as in Seattle for a while. Not as a Mariner, but as he had to leave town with the Yankees. Here's his debut with the Yankees last year. Getting to know his teammates, and this was his first at bat. The fans at Safeco Field, and his first at bat, well, what do you know? A base hit and a stolen base for the New York Yankees. And there's the ball to Area 31. Area 51, I should say.
Just a very, very popular player in Seattle, needless to say. Fans loved him.
Well, for a few of those years, Lou, he was kind of all they had. You know, they didn't have the best of teams, and I think Ichiro wanted to move to a team that had a chance to get to the playoffs. And
at the end of your career, you want to play on a winning team. Yeah. Can't blame him.
Swing and a miss, and Nix has struck out for out number 2. And also, he got a chance to play with players more his own age, because Seattle was comprised of a lot of young players.
They weren't going anywhere.
Yep. Most hits, franchise history. Ichiro, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., and Jay Buhner.
It's a chance to play the pinstripes.
You had all those guys at one time or another.
Oh, I had some great hitters over there. Alex Rodriguez, Brett Boone, John Olerud. Remember John Olerud? I had some great hitters in Seattle.
Sweet swinging Olerud. He won a batting title in the National League. Pitches outside to Hafter for a ball. Who's walked and popped up. Now, I heard a story about Olerud. He didn't play in the minors. And playing in college at Washington State, he had never used a wooden bat until his first at bat in the major leagues, and he got a base hit.
Unbelievable. He's a pretty good pitcher, too, Kenny.
Ball outside.
In college, that is.
Yeah.
Ranging. What a nice target to throw the ball across the infield. First base.
Smooth as silk.
Nice young man, too.
Tying runs at second here. The Yankees trying to break through against Christian Martinez, who took over for the starter Paul Maholm.
Yeah, there aren't too many players, Kenny, that get that opportunity to go straight to the majors from college.
I think of Dave Winfield.
Okay.
Didn't Bob Horner do it out of Arizona State for the Braves? Yeah, he was their third baseman. He teamed along with Dale Murphy to be a good right-handed 3-4 hitter in the Braves lineup. Now Pete Incaviglia did it. Hall of Famer Al Kaline.
Well, what a nice swing Al had.
Somebody knew he was pretty good. He's in the big leagues.
That was out of high school in Baltimore.
Yeah,
right?
He won a batting title, I think, at age 20 or 19. What a nice guy, too. Class act, Al Kaline. 3 balls and a strike as Hafner had the green light, 3-0. He was trying to put the Yankees ahead with that swing. Another good swing and fouls it back.
Well, I like that. When the manager has confidence in you and gives you that go sign 3-0,
Did you give your hitters 3-0? Go ahead.
Junior, I did.
Uh-huh.
Alex, I did.
Buhner?
Buhner, I did. Martinez,
Edgar?
I did. Yo, sure. Some of them know we just put the stop sign on them a little bit.
That's 4 guys.
No, I probably had a few more.
Uh-huh.
I tell you, I had really, really good hitting in Seattle. Really good hitting. Power.
3-2 pitch on the way, and it's fouled back again by Hafner.
That's one thing I've always enjoyed baseball, watching good hitters hit, whether they're on your team or on the opposing team.
Now, you won the World Series with Cincinnati.
Yes.
But would you consider Seattle your best team?
Well, I'll tell you what, Cincinnati, we had some kids over there very athletic. They could really, really play. Barry Larkin just got elected into the Hall of Fame. What a great player he was. You know, and then I had that bullpen that from the 7th inning on, the Nasty Boys, the game was over. I won 116 games in Seattle with a very, very talented team, and the Yankees disposed us in the American League Championship Series. But I'll tell you, that Cincinnati club, these kids could play, and if we could have added a couple pieces over the winter, I think we could have had something good going over there for a few years.
Now, we talked about Edgar Martinez. Yankee fans know what type of hitter he was because he wore out the Yankees. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer, although he didn't play much in the field?
Well, you know, DH is an integral part of American League lineup, and this guy was the best DH ever. What a hitter.
Well, the award is now named after him, the Edgar Martinez Award for the best DH.
There you go. And why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't know. I know that his numbers, you look at them, and they're Hall of Fame numbers.
Now, I know that Paul Molitor is in the Hall of Fame, and he spent quite some time as a designated hitter. But he didn't play the field. Yeah, he could hit.
Yeah, he could hit. He had the smallest takeaway I have ever seen. The 2 smallest takeaways I've ever seen were Molitor and Don Madlin.
When you say takeaway, that means when a hitter sets the bat to swing the bat.
Yes, exactly. I would say a couple of inches at most.
And Molitor had no stride either.
No stride.
Eduardo Nunez with 2 on and 2 outs, and he takes one outside. I saw Paul Molitor get his first of 3,000 hits. We opened in Milwaukee, and first of all, it was about 28 degrees. What we were doing in Milwaukee in early April, I don't know. But Paul Molitor, first big league hit. Nunez off the end of the bat. Freeman hauls it in. That's going to do it. Once again, the Yankees leave a couple of men on. And at the end of 5 innings here at Steinbrenner Field, the Braves maintain a 1-0 lead. Fans of the Yankees have launched Yankees Ticket Exchange, the official resale marketplace of Yankees and Yankees.com. It's a safe, secure, and convenient way for fans to buy and resell Yankee tickets. For more information, visit Yankees.com/ticket exchange. New pitcher for the Yankees here in the top half of the 6th inning. It is going to be Braden Pinder. He too has thrown the ball very well this spring. Tall, talented right-hander, and he'll deal to Jason Hayward and throws him a strike knee high over the outside corner for strike 1.
Yeah, Larry Rochow, Yankee pitching coach, is very impressed with this young man. Big, strong kid, like you alluded. Throws the ball 95, 96.
Well, 1 down and away, 1 up and in.
Ball's heavy. He's working on his slider. Yankees have good size on their young pitchers. I like to see that. Throw with a good downward plane.
Tried to get him to chase it, and he did. Hayward, 3 pitches, and he's gone. Strike 1. Strikeout number 1, I should say, for Pinder. Here's Justin Upton coming to the plate. He's driven in the run with a ground out and also struck out. Justin Upton on playing with his brother BJ, being able to show up at the ballpark with my brother, being excited to be there every day. The more energy you can bring to the yard every day. How proud of their parents? That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 outstanding young players, superstars in their own right. I got a chance to meet the Upton's parents.
Yeah.
When I was with the Rays. Nice people from Virginia.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. That's going to make you a better player, having someone you're comfortable with. That will help a lot. Justin should be playing left and BJ should be playing center. Tonight, BJ the designated hitter. This ball is hit well to left field. Ichiro moving over towards the line, makes the catch for out number 2. That might have been a little off the end of the bat. So 2 up and 2 down.
This is a fastball out over the plate, and you're right. No, it was a slider. Actually, it was a slider. And Upton just hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. Fooled Ichiro a little bit in left field. He took a few steps back, but came back in and caught the ball.
2 outs for Freddie Freeman.
There's not much hitting tonight, but this is the first night game here in spring training. It takes a while to adjust to the lights, Kenny.
Well, being up this late for me now. That pitch is high and away, ball 2. You mentioned the false step by Ichiro. Sometimes when those big outfielders are up there, those big hitters, and they take that swing and you take that step back. You're thinking, well, they got into that one when they really didn't. Pitch is hit on the ground and through the left side for a base hit. The infield was drawn around expecting Freeman to pull the ball. Instead, he slashes one to left for his 2nd hit of the night.
And you're right. I remember when I played the outfield here, Freeman just gets the ball out over the plate. Instead of trying to pull it, stays inside of it, just drills it to left field for a base hit.
And we will see both Upton brothers this inning as BJ takes his turn. He's popped out and grounded to short.
You know what makes Upton a little inconsistent is that he's got a long swing, and it's got to stay grooved. When it's grooved, it's good. When it's not, he'll swing and miss quite a bit.
Well, he picks up a base hit here, and here's what you're talking about with that swing, Lou.
Yeah, you'll see that it's a long swing. He gets really extended. Gets a good hip rotation, good follow through. Base hit the left field. End result.
2 on, 2 out, and that'll leave it up to Dan Uggla. Uggla has struck out, grounded to third. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, you put McCann in that lineup sometime at the end of April, and you got lefty righty through the first 6 spots in the lineup. Pretty good.
Yeah, I have a feeling that National League East is going to be heavily contested between the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. The Nationals won more games than anybody in baseball last year. Won 98 games. Steven Strasburg this year will have no innings limit. He's their ace. And Rafael Soriano takes over as the closer. Look out. Uggla's hit by the pitch. Not happy. But he appears to be okay. He walked away from his helmet. Now he's going to get it. Manager Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and check on his second baseman. And let's see. Uggla's going to turn, head back to the dugout. They're going to send a pinch runner in for him, as they should. So Dan Uggla, hit by the pitch, appears to be okay. Certainly not happy about it. It sounded like it got him on the helmet.
Hit him right on the helmet. You don't really like to see players get hit on the helmet, head.
Here's another look. He turned just in time. Looked like it got him on the ear flap. And we're going to have a pinch runner. Blake DeWitt will take over at first base for Dan Uggla.
Yeah, in spring training, it's always good to get the player out of the ball game. Precautionary.
Pitch is hit high in the air down the right field side. Coming over is Almonte near the line. Reaches out. Makes the catch in fair territory. The Braves are going to leave the bases loaded. So Chris Johnson flies out with the bases loaded. It's still a 1-0 game. Afternoon, Robinson Cano sheds the pinstripes and joins the powerful Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic team when they take on the Yankees in an exhibition game here at Steinbrenner Field. Coverage right here on Yes at 1 o'clock when Lou and I are back with all of the action. It's right here on Yes. So you get to see Robbie Cano in a uniform other than the Yankee uniform.
I think Robbie can hit in any uniform.
Now, I heard he hit a home run today.
He did?
Against the Phillies.
Yeah, they pummeled the Phillies. They were ahead 13-1. They had something like 25 hits.
They brought their hitting shoes with them. New pitcher is Dusty Hughes. This is what he did at Braves AAA club last year.
Well, maybe they tired themselves out.
Running the bases. Hughes will face Chris Stewart. Dan Johnson also scheduled along with Zoilo Almonte here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Dusty Hughes, a little bit of a specialty type pitcher.
Slings it up to the plate.
Slings it up. They lowered its slot. See if we can get some left-hand hitters out for him.
That is low for a ball 1-1. Stewart tonight has hit the ball hard twice. Lined out the left both times, and both times left men on base. In the first inning, 3 men were left, and in the third, 2 men were left on base. Yankees trailing 1-0 here in the 6th inning. The Braves have made some changes. We'll catch you up with their defensive changes in just a few moments here. 1-1 pitch is outside for a ball, 2-1. Outside once again, 3 balls and a strike.
Hughes is the type of pitcher, a right-hand hitter you can be a little patient with. He's not going to throw the ball by you.
Make him bring the ball up.
Make him bring it up.
You're helping him out if you swing at that sinker. 3-1 pitch, and that is in there for a strike, 3-2. You know, the way Stewart's been hitting the ball, he's due for a broken bat single, isn't he?
He's hit the ball hard twice.
3-2 pitch, and he fouls it at the plate. Count remains 3-2.
How's that catching situation working out between Cervelli and Stewart?
Cervelli's had a very good spring defensively. At last count, he had thrown out 5 of 6 runners attempting to steal. And Stewart's always been known as a good defensive catcher. 3-2 pitch once again, and he pops it up. This is to the right side. Let's see. It looks like Mr. DeWitt, the second baseman, will put it away, and there's one out here in the 6th inning. By the way, that game tomorrow will feature former Yankee Jose Veras, who will pitch for the Dominican Republic, and he'll be in there against Hiroki Kuroda, be making his 2nd start of the spring. And of course, Yankee bench coach Tony Pena is going to manage the Dominican team. As you mentioned, they should be one of the favorites. At least the Phillies think that way.
There you go. Well, you know, the amazing thing is Pena did a nice job when he managed over in Kansas City.
Yeah, he did. Manager of the year one year.
Exactly.
Here's Dan Johnson, who's flied to right and struck out. Got caught looking in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss, and there's a look at what the Braves want Hughes to do against left-handed batters.
Reminds me a little bit of Rapata with the Yankees.
Yeah.
You just got to stay with the ball a little longer as a hitter.
Ground ball towards second for Blake DeWitt. He's got this one and throws out Johnson for out number 2. Speaking of Rapata, I saw him in the clubhouse before the game along with Boone Logan. Now, Logan's been bothered by a tender elbow, so he hadn't really hit the mound yet in spring training, but he told me he's coming along. Now, I was joking with Rapata. I said, until this guy gets well, you're going to have to work twice as hard as being a lefty out of the bullpen. Here's Almonte, who's popped up and struck out. He's 0 for 2.
Well, these type of pitchers that make you want to chase the ball out of the zone, change speeds. I always said you got to see the ball out in front of you. You got to see it again, and you got to see it the 3rd time before you swing at it. So you really got to follow it. Remember, like Pete Rose used to take pitches and look at the ball,
watch it into the glove.
catch. Yeah, you got to do that.
Ground ball towards 3rd. Johnson throws on the run, throws accurately, and that's going to be it. Yankees go quietly here in the 6th inning. It's on to the 7th at Steinbrenner Field. Got a good one going. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Just a reminder, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Yankee fans out in force tonight. Good crowd on hand here at Steinbrenner Field. First night game of the spring training session. Yankees have made several changes. We'll catch you up with their defensive changes. New pitcher in the ball game is Mark Montgomery, and he is a pitcher the Yankees think highly of.
Got really good numbers in the minor leagues.
He takes over for Braden Pender, who left the bases loaded in the 6th inning, gave up a couple of hits, but also had a strikeout. Tri-State Ford scoreboard, it is 1-0 Atlanta here in the top of the 7th inning. The batter is Tyler Pasternak, and he swings at the first offering and hits one that is foul, just foul. Then a right field side bounds into the seats. Pasternak has reached twice on errors by the third baseman Corbin Joseph.
I was talking to Larry Rothschild before the ball game at Montgomery. Got a really good slider. In fact, they compare it to Carlos Marmol's slider that I had over in Chicago, and I told Larry it's got to be a really good one. Because Marmol really had a good slider.
Pitch is low for a ball. You know, watching Marmol throw over the years, what an arm! But sometimes his control wasn't all that good.
Yeah. And he fell in love with the breaking ball at times too, and he didn't want to throw his fastball.
Look, that's inside. But when you're a closer, you got to throw strikes.
You got to throw strikes.
You think of Mariano over the years. How Yankee fans have been spoiled. Strike after strike after strike. That pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 2-2. We mentioned the Yankees' defensive changes. Flores is now in left, Mesa in center. Thomas Neal is taken over in right. Joseph remains at third. Addison Marusak at short. Jose Perella is at second. Mertens at first. Ground ball slowly hit. Marusak has a strong arm. Doesn't get him. Pasternak is showing some speed and beats it out for a base hit. Did he lay back too much?
I think the shortstop just laid back just a little bit too much. And as a hitter, when you swing at that breaking ball and you get on your front foot, it gives you a good approach. Yeah, the shortstop just lays back on that ball just a little bit too long. He's got a nice throwing arm, but Pasternak just beat it out.
See the stretch by Luke Merton on the end of this play, but it wasn't enough. Runner goes. Pitches a strike. The throw to second is not. Pasternak in with a steal, and he'll head to third on the throwing error by the catcher.
Yeah, what happens so often with these young pitchers, Kenny, they get in the ball game, they want to get people out, they concentrate on the hitter, they forget about the base runner. Pasternak didn't give the catcher any chance at all, throwing him out.
That is J.R. Murphy with the wide throw at second base. So now the Yankees are forced to bring the infield in. No outs and a runner at third. And Matt Pagnazzi at the plate, the catcher. And he takes one inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, holding base runners on is important to getting the hitter out. Keep the double play in check.
Especially when you just saw a guy beat out an infield hit. He's got great speed.
Good
so
speed,
you should be aware of it. And there's a balk called on Montgomery, and the Braves going to get another run. Home plate umpire David Rackley with the call.
Well, let's see what he does here, Kenny.
Yep, he
starts.
starts.
He starts. Yeah, he starts. Good call. Yeah, once you start, you can't stop.
Well, Pagnazzi now swings and misses. It's a ball and 2 strikes. And sometimes it can be caused by the catchers giving signs And the rhythm is off. When the pitcher thinks he's seen the last sign, he actually hasn't. The catcher flips another sign at it, and it makes the pitcher hesitate. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Pagnozzi. And a lot of times because the catcher puts down the sign of what you're thinking. And then you start, but then the catcher puts down another sign, and the rhythm is thrown off. And this time it caused the balk. Inexperience. Slider misses. Count is full 3-2.
Yeah, that slider there is not as big or as quick as Marmol's slider.
That pitch is foul.
Well, Young mistakes. Shortstop laying back. Pitcher not holding the runner. Young catcher trying to overthrow the ball to second base, and then a balk.
Yep, by the
Atlanta's
pitcher.
got a quick run, yeah.
Well, Joe Girardi mentioned that seen a lot of players this spring, a lot of young players.
I was talking to Larry Rothschild. He had 17 pitchers that never been to a major league camp. That's unheard of.
Yeah. And you have a tendency to get that in World Baseball Classic seasons.
I think they had, what, 80-some players in camp to start.
84. It gives you a chance to evaluate your whole organization.
There you go. I was looking at the notes here, and Atlanta only had, what, 58 players in camp. Big difference.
It's still a lot, though. 58.
That traveling secretary working a lot harder with that meal money.
Now back to the top of the order, Jordan Schaefer. And he'll take a pitch in the third. Braves have one man on. They have a run in. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th. Williamsburg, Virginia. Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia. Drafted by the Yankees, 11th round, 2011. Florida State League All-Star with Tampa last year. Luke Merton knocks that down.
Threw the ball wild to first base, but I'm glad to see that he paid attention to the runner.
Schaefer tonight doubled lead off the ball game and scored the first Atlanta run. He's also walked and grounded out. Montgomery hits the outside corner, ball with a strike. On deck is Joey Todoslavich. He took over for Jason Hayward in right. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike.
Pender's having a little trouble here finding home plate. He's got some good movement on the ball.
Three balls and a strike. And that is ball 4. Back-to-back walks handed out by Montgomery, and the Braves have 2 on and nobody out. You know, Lou, when the Yankees eventually came over to Tampa from Fort Lauderdale at this complex, which was then Legends Field, now Steinbrenner Field, the Braves were training in West Palm Beach, and they went up to Orlando, just outside of Disney World. And from what I understand, the Yankees were actually the tenants that got offered first to go to Orlando, but it was George Steinbrenner wanted to come to Tampa near his home.
George was living here.
Yeah.
Always wanted to get the Yankees back here to Tampa.
And they got the much better facility than they had in Fort Lauderdale, and it includes indoor batting cages. You can see Eduardo Nunez working after the game.
Yeah, the facilities in Fort Lauderdale were very, very crowded. I think we had a field and a half, no indoor facilities at all. Nice place for spring training. We had the Orioles, Miami.
Here's Todoslavich, and he takes a pitch for a call strike. But I will say this: spring training facilities are much, much better
improved, yes,
than they used to be. Much better. Much better for the fans. Ball is hit well to right field. On the move is Almonte. He makes the catch, and the runners are going to have to hold. He makes a strong throw to third base as well. Line drive out for out number 1 off the bat of Joey Todoslavich.
Yeah, you're right, Kenny. The facilities are so much better now.
Check that. That is Thomas Nealon, right? I already mentioned his name and forgot that he was out there.
Indoor facilities, weight rooms, 4 or 5 different trainers, a strength coach, a masseuse.
And back in the day, if it rained in spring training, you're just out of luck. Now you can still hit.
Get your work in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pitchers and hitters. Here's Evan Gattis, and he'll take a pitch for a ball. Now this Gattis got prepared in winter ball. He played in Venezuela. Hit 16 home runs in winter ball.
And those ballparks in Venezuela are quite big.
Have you played winter ball?
I played there for maybe 6-7 weeks 1 year. In fact, I actually enjoyed it. Played right in Caracas.
I played my winter ball in Puerto Rico, which was very enjoyable to say the least. Gattis takes one over the outside corner for a strike. My manager was Roberto Clemente.
How about that?
Yeah, that was quite an experience.
We traveled quite a bit, you know, in Venezuela to Maracaibo, to Barquisimeto, Caracas.
Look out! Gattis is hit with a pitch, and the bases are loaded. Second Brave to be hit by a pitch in this ball game. Young pitchers sometimes do not have control of the strike zone.
Yeah, he's showing his nerves out there a little bit. Trying to overthrow the ball.
We're going to have a pitching change. Montgomery coming out of the game. Yankees going to the bullpen. We'll be right back. Trying to hold the Braves here in check in the 7th inning. They've already scored 1 run. They have the bases loaded and 1 out. One done in the minors last year, 5-0, 3.93, less than a hit per inning. Maybe a few too many walks, but 80 strikeouts in 71 innings. 6 home runs allowed. We were talking about winter ball, and the year I played in Puerto Rico, Reggie played for the Santurce team. I played for San Juan. Reggie Jackson set a record.
Santurce Crabbers.
Yep, he set a record. Hit 19 home runs in winter ball and broke Orlando Cepeda's record. Well, didn't keep both of them in the Hall of Fame. Ernesto Mejia.
Here's a little tough little situation for Rondon. I mean, he's got a little bit of a control problem, and bring him in with the bases loaded. Probably not the most ideal situation.
2 balls and no strikes on Mejia, and you saw Mejia's numbers in AAA last year. 24 homers, 92 RBIs.
Yeah, good power. He's put together. Big kid.
Oof. He was looking for 4 runs on 1 swing. Instead, comes up empty, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Rondon with a good fastball. That's the type of swing you want to take 2-0. That's the type of swing you want to take 2-1.
I'll tell you what, you're right, Kenny. He's trying to get 4 of them in.
You remember Lee May, my teammate Lee May?
Yes.
He would do that. Maybe once, twice a week. Swing so hard he'd fall down.
Lee had a quick bat, didn't he?
Yeah. 350 homers in the big leagues.
Oh boy, there's a nice slider.
Whoa!
With 2 strikes, he just locked up the hitter.
If this is you get a weak swing award, this is it for the night.
Oh boy. Well, you know, you can't miss 2 good fastballs. But what a difference! What a difference!
3-2 hook, got him. 2 outs now. Bases remain loaded. And here is Jordan Perez at the plate.
Well, this is how these young pitchers impress a pitching coach, impress a manager.
Little chopper towards short. Maruzak charges. Throws on the money this time, and that's going to do it for the Braves. But Atlanta picks up a run here in the 7th inning. It's on to the 7th inning stretch here at Steinbrenner Field. And, of course, right now we're going to stay for a very patriotic song, God Bless America.
And now, please direct your attention to the Yankees dugout and welcome Chief Warrant Officer Anthony Anderson of the United States Army, who recently returned from deployment in Iraq and Afghanistan, and will stand with the Yankees during the singing of God Bless America. Let's have a warm round of applause for Chief Warrant Officer Anderson and for all of our brave men and women for their sacrifices for our country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your caps and join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
To the oceans
Corey Rasmus now pitching for the Atlanta Braves as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. He was at AA Mississippi last year for Atlanta. And the first pitch is swung on and popped up in foul territory and out of play. Corbin Joseph with his 3rd at bat is 1 for 2. 50 games, 3-5, 62 strikeouts in 58 2/3 innings. And, you know, young pitcher, maybe a few too many walks. Only 3 home runs allowed. Did a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. That's a little high, maybe a little outside, and it's a ball and a strike.
Pitch in the Southern League.
You know, I didn't play in the Southern League, but I heard they had some long bus rides in that league.
Big ballparks. I've owned a small piece of the Montgomery Biscuits.
Slow roller to the left side. Third baseman up with it across to Mejia, and there is 1 down.
Kenny. And I'm going to go watch them play this year.
The Biscuits.
Yeah, the Biscuits.
That's one of the best names in the minor leagues, though.
You know, I started my pro career right down the street, or right down the Dixie Highway, about 50 miles in Selma, Alabama. And one of the things that I want to do is go back to Selma. I haven't been there since 1962.
Here's Melky Mesa. And that's what he did at AA and AAA last year. Melky had a chance to play for the Dominican team, but decided to stay here when the job might be opening up in the Yankee outfield. So he's going to compete for the job. Juan Francisco is now at third base for the Atlanta Braves. He's made the first 2 had the first 2 assists in this inning. Reyes is now at short. Mejia, Cunningham in center. We mentioned Goddess in left. Yepes is doing the catching. So wholesale changes for the Braves. Every position has been replaced with another player. Every starter. Pitch is fouled back and out of play.
Well, one of the things I did when I managed, Kenny, is when I took 25 or so players on the road, I made sure that I got into the game as many as possible. I mean, it's really demoralizing for a young man to ride the bus and just sit on the bench and watch a ball game. Give him a chance to play if you can.
Ramon Flores. You know, even a pinch hitting appearance, at least that's something. Foul back to the screen, and it's ball and 2 strikes. Flores took over for Ichiro, who was 1 for 3 with a double. Call, strike 3. Rasmus, 2 ground outs and a punch out, and that's it for the Yankees in the 7th. We're going to the 8th inning here at Steinbrenner Field. Come on back now. 2-0 Atlanta. Francisco Rondon remains in the game for the Yankees. He's facing Blake DeWitt, and the first pitch to Mr. DeWitt is in there for a called strike. 3 errors for the Yankees tonight. Braves lead at 2-0. Outside for a ball. I'd say the pitching's been pretty good tonight, Lou, on both sides.
Good pitching on both sides.
I don't know. You know, sometimes it's hard to gauge in spring training because the hitters are maybe not where they should be.
First night game.
Yeah, that too. Speaking of a night game, and this was a day game, and I know you were there. We played the Yankees in the Orioles played the Yankees exhibition game at the Superdome in New Orleans.
Boy, do I remember that. Yes.
Ron Guidry pitched for the Yankees, and it was lit for football, not for baseball. And halfway between the mound and home plate, it was dark.
Yeah, it was shadows.
Yeah, and I'm figuring, Guidry's hard enough to hit as it is. What? And of course, the Yankees pitched him there because he's from Louisiana. Louisiana Lightning. Not only was he lightning, he was thunder that night too. He was both.
Yeah, thunder and lightning.
And it was hard to see. And I remember coming back to the bench, and I forgot the next hitters I was passing him after he struck me out. I said, "You're not going to like this when you get up there." DeWitt with a ground ball to short. Maruzak across the diamond, and there's one down here in the 8th inning.
Well, they hit a line drive to me in left field that particular day that you're alluding to.
So you do remember that day?
I do remember that day. And I put my glove up, and that ball knocked the cap off my hat. And Billy says, what time did you get in last night?
Yeah, we were in New Orleans for a little while, weren't we?
Yes.
Here's Juan Francisco. He took over.
It was hard seeing.
Francisco lines one to left field for a base hit. I was about to say that he and Chris Johnson are in a battle for the third base spot. Now, Freddie Gonzalez, the manager, has said whoever plays the best has a chance to get the job. And if neither one of you just grab it by the throat, it's going to be a platoon situation. Francisco's a left-handed hitter.
They're both swinging the bat well this spring.
Yeah, they are. It's like they were listening to him. They want the job.
There's nothing like competition.
Here's Reyes, the shortstop.
And talking about Francisco, Rondon, his brother, pitches for the Tigers. He's had a lot of trouble with his command this spring.
His brother throws hard.
Yes.
Upper 90s. Low and inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes on Reyes. Yepes is on deck. Jose Yepes. This is Elmer Reyes. A little late, fouls it back. 2-1. Be a quick turnaround for the Yankees. A day game here tomorrow. They play the vaunted Dominican Republic team that's headed for the World Baseball Classic in an exhibition game here at Steinbrenner Field. Chance for you all to see Robbie Cano in a uniform other than a Yankee uniform.
I'll be curious to see if Joe Girardi will play a couple of his veteran players night-day game.
Well, that's another way of getting ready for the regular season, because there are going to be day games that follow night games. I remember when I was a rookie, I wondered why all the the veterans would complain about day games after night games. When I became a veteran, I knew what they were talking about. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, 3-2. I was hoping for a DH day that next day. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Elmer Reyes. 1 on and 1 out here in the 8th inning. Timeout is called. Long look at the runner. He's not going, and the pitch is ball 4. Reyes draws a walk, and there are 2 on and 1 out here in the 8th. Jose Yepez coming to the plate. He took over for Pagnazzi. Matt Pagnazzi was catching. Yepez now behind the plate. This will be his first at bat. What'd you say, 17 pitchers in camp that have never been to big league camp before?
Yeah, that's a whole lot. It's probably a first here with the Yankees.
There's a call strike. Now, we had mentioned earlier in the spring that there's so many players in camp that the Yankees actually ran out of numbers. So what they had to do, Robbie Kakuza, of course, the home clubhouse guy, had to double up on the numbers, particularly ones in the 90s. But what they did, which was very smart, Robbie's a smart guy. Pitch is swung on and missed, and it's strike 2. So we could tell the difference up here. He'd give 1 number to an outfielder and 1 number to a pitcher. So we'd know that who was who. Thank you, Robbie.
It's pretty smart.
Case in point is Luke Merton is number 94. So is Mark Montgomery. But Montgomery's a pitcher. Merton's a first baseman.
First baseman.
High and away, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And that applies to number 96, Addison Maruzak, and Vidal Nuno, who's a left-handed pitcher.
Not a very good sign when you come to camp, though, and your uniform numbers in the 90s.
Yeah. Defensive end.
Yes.
Fouled at the plate. You remember your first number in a big league camp?
I really don't.
Mine was 59. I remember that, which was up there. It kind of gave an indication right away you'll only be around for a few weeks.
Well, you know, when there's 59 there, Kenny.
That's Robbie Thompson, yeah.
You know, when I played, they used to take the 40-man roster to camp, and not too many more players. So yeah, I would think that I wouldn't think there were more than 50 players in camp.
Rondon picks up a strikeout. His first strikeout. Make that his second strikeout of the game. Here is Todd Cunningham, 99.
No, that's not a very good sign.
Cunningham took over for the center fielder Jordan Schaefer. Ground ball to the right side for Perella. He has it. Throws to Merton, and that's it. Braves leave 2 men on here in the 8th inning. They do not score. 7.5 have been played. It's 2-0 Atlanta. New pitcher for the Atlanta Braves here in the bottom of the 8th inning is J.R. Graham, who pitched at A and AA last year. Oh, good record, 12-2. Starting pitcher, 26 starts, 2.80 ERA. He gets Jose Perella here at the bottom of the 8th, and the first pitch is high and inside for ball 1.
Well, I've been waiting for J.R. Graham to come into the ball game. I was talking to Jim Fregosi before the ball game. He says this young man here might throw a pitch 100 miles an hour tonight.
96, that's up there.
Got a curveball. Says he throws that at 84, 85.
Top 5 prospects: Julio Teheran, J.R. Graham, Christian Betancourt, Sean Gilmartin. That pitch is in 97. Yeah, he can rush it up there.
Nice, easy, fluid delivery.
Where's his socks? The old style, Lou.
I like it.
Back in the day. 2-1 pitch, and that is low. 3 balls and a strike. You don't see that very often anymore.
Yeah, you don't see many of our young kids, even in amateur ball, wear their socks that way.
Pitch is fouled off. You know, Jack Curry was up here earlier. He is caught up with the Yankee general manager, Brian Cashmore. We're going to find out how Brian's feeling. Jack.
Brian, we're doing this interview in Joe Girardi's office because obviously with your leg injury, you're not able to walk. How are you feeling after the fibula and ankle injury that you incurred?
You know, surprisingly, I feel good. You know, obviously, you know, I'm going to have to adjust about how I go about my business, but haven't missed a game. Got here for the first inning. You know, I got discharged from the hospital about 1:30 in Fort Lauderdale, and so, you know, now just I'll probably move my offices from the 3rd floor down to the clubhouse level, and you know, we'll figure it out as we go along. It's new, so.
You're still wearing the Wounded Warrior T-shirt, and that's why you decided to jump out of a plane yesterday to help bring attention to that charity. You decided to do it a second time. Any regrets that the second time is where the injury occurred?
I only regret, you know, the landing on the second one. You know, listen, it's something that just happened, and you know, you look for a silver lining or turn negatives, you know, into positives. So obviously, the whole intent was to raise awareness and try to raise some money to the Wounded Warrior Project, and it's not the way, you know, I think that anybody intended to do it, but certainly got a lot more attention because of the injury, and so hopefully something good comes out of a bad break.
A general manager's disabled list doesn't exist, but how will this impact you going forward? You mentioned moving your office down to the 1st floor, but everything else, I imagine, as long as you have a phone and have the ability to talk to people, it's not going to impact anything you do.
Yeah, listen, the general manager has, a lot of people that, you know, allow him to get his job done. So, you know, I've got all our people in place. They're doing their jobs, and I've got my phone, and I'll work around and work with everybody as I always have. I'll do it a little bit slower physically, but everything else is working fine. And you know, it's amazing. I'm not in any pain. I didn't feel any pain when I broke it, and you know, I'm still not in any pain even post-surgery. So that's something that I think is odd, but I'm thankful for it because I think that would debilitate me more than anything else.
You've kept a very encouraging, spirited attitude throughout all this. Every interview I've seen, you haven't said anything about, hey, I wish I didn't do this. How have you been able to do that, and what's the best piece of advice you've gotten from anybody through this?
Nobody's advice, you know, just like, hey, what, you know, everybody wants to know what it's like taking that jump, you know, jumping at 13,600 feet, which is about 3 miles. Everybody wants to know more about that, and then also how did you do it, you know, that type of thing. So, you know, it was a great honor I was taught by the best. They did everything right, but it's kind of like a football play. You know, if anybody played football, and I played wide receiver when I was in high school, and if you break the play down, if somebody misses a block, the whole offensive play can fall apart on you. And I messed up on the very end of the protocols, and so the whole play broke down because of me. So I feel like I let my teammates down with the Army, but I was really honored to be one.
And then I have to finish off with another injury question, but it's not about you. News coming out today that Mark Teixeira has a strained right wrist. He is bowing out of the World Baseball Classic, going to be examined by Yankee doctors tomorrow. What can you tell us about Teixeira's situation?
Yeah, we're obviously concerned about it. You know, he was swinging off of a tee out in Arizona, and he hurt it. X-rays were negative, but they did an MRI out there. It showed a strain. So we're sending him to New York to be followed up with our hand specialist, and it's way too early for me to kind of predict what we're dealing with. He's definitely going to miss about, you're talking 2 weeks, so he's out of the WBC, and then and wrist stuff is very tricky. So even if we get a positive from it, those wrist stuff become, lingering things at times. So I'm real concerned about it just because it's the wrist.
Well, thanks to Jack Curry and, of course, Yankee General Manager Brian Cashman, who, Lou, all in all, he sounded in pretty good spirits for somebody who suffered a broken leg and a dislocated ankle, and helping out the wounded warriors in a great cause. And I think he wanted to stress that. That's why he did it. And unfortunately, he suffered the injury.
Very admirable, like you mentioned, in great spirits. No ill feelings whatsoever.
Ground ball towards second. Only one out can be made here as Marusak is thrown out at first. By the way, young Mr. Graham did hit 100.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
I saw him at 97, 98.
He's just getting loose.
So Fregosi wasn't exaggerating.
Jim Fregosi is one of my idols in baseball. And he's been that way for a long, long time. He knows. He's a super scout for the Atlanta Braves. He knows he knows his baseball players.
Well, when I talk to Jim, I just listen.
You don't talk, you listen?
I don't say much. But getting back to Brian for a second, he can do his job. Cell phone.
It's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Wonderful thing.
Yeah. Here's J.R. Murphy's first at bat of the night.
I just didn't know that he skydived.
Well, he did it for a cause, and he didn't want to draw attention to the cause in that way, but hopefully he'll be up and about quickly. Rehab will be, it's always the rehab after the injury is the tough part. J.R. Murphy, one of the catching prospects in the Yankee system. There are several. Gary Sanchez is another. Born in nearby Bradenton, Florida, drafted by the Yankees second round 4 years ago. Been an all-star twice in the minor leagues. Back-to-back years. Last year, the year before. South Atlantic League and in the Florida State League. Right here at Tampa. So the fans in this area know J.R. Murphy.
Chance to see him play. Probably playing Double-A this year.
That Trenton team's going to be a good team. Solid outfield. Outside for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. Runner at second with 2 down. Recapped this inning. Perella led off, flied out. Mastillier with an infield single. He had a great at bat. He fouled off several tough pitches. Ruzak grounded to second. Mastillier moved to second. And now J.R. Murphy's at the plate.
No, for a big guy, he got down that line pretty quick.
Yeah. Mastillier? Well, the Yankees, they like the way he swings the bat. Had some good numbers in the minor leagues last year. Ranier Mastillier from Dominican Republic. Foul back.
Boy, that country just keeps turning out one player after another.
In Major League Baseball, only the United States has produced more baseball players presently. And we're talking, the United States, over 300 million people? Only 10 million people in the Dominican Republic.
Unbelievable.
Pitch is fouled back. Of course, they got the benefit of pretty good weather.
Major League teams have built some wonderful, wonderful academies. Yeah, there's no draft there, so
you can sign them early.
You can sign them early.
16.
Get them ready, yes.
3-2 pitch to Murphy, and he swings and foul tips it, but it's held on by Yepes. It'll go as a strikeout, and the Yankees going to leave a runner at second base. We're going to the 9th inning here at Steinbrenner Field. The Braves have the lead. It's 2-0. Atlanta, top of the 9th inning. Yankees have a new pitcher in the ball game. Sean Kelly comes in. Kelly coming over from the Seattle Mariners. We pitched last year in 47 ball games. This young man supposedly has a very good slider. That might indicate the fact he had 45 strikeouts in 44 in the 3rd innings. Only 15 walks. Good strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, did a really nice job with the Mariners. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, likes him, likes his fastball, likes his demeanor on the mound, and like you mentioned, Kenny, he's got a really, really good slider. It's an out pitch.
He will get Joey Todoslovich, Evan Gattis, and Ernesto Mejia here in the top half of the 9th inning.
Also, Safeco Field is a pretty good park to pitch in.
You know what? They're bringing the fences in this year.
How about that?
Yeah.
It must have encouraged those Seattle hitters because they're 10-1 or so in spring training.
Yeah. One at bat for Todoslovich, and he flied out to right field.
You know, spring training records don't mean much, but I was looking this morning. Kansas City was 9-0.
Lou, they got some good young hitters.
They picked up Shields from Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Eric Hosmer at first. Mike Moustakas at 3rd. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. I like him. He's a good player.
Good player.
Alex Gordon in left field.
Left field.
Led the league in doubles last year. Salvador Perez catching, who was out with knee injury for quite a bit last year, but he's very good catcher. Last year I picked Kansas City as one of my surprise teams. This ball's drilled foul. But they didn't have the pitching to back it up. I think this year they've got more pitching with Shields and Wade Davis. So I'm not saying they're winning the division, because you got to deal with the White Sox. You got to deal with, of course, the Detroit Tigers. But I have a feeling they're going to win more games. Ball hit well to center field. Melky Mesa coming in and over towards the gap, and he'll make the catch for 1 out. Well, the starting pitcher tonight was David Phelps, and he did an excellent job for the Yankees, and he is standing by with our Jack Curry. Jack, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Kenny. David, very solid outing for you tonight. You give off a leadoff double and then 1 hit over the next 4 innings. How satisfied were you with the way you pitched?
Yeah, I'm satisfied is a good word. There's definitely some things I need to work on, but yeah, I mean, I felt like we were getting ahead of guys. Fastball command was there for the most part tonight. Off-speed stuff was okay tonight, but yeah, I'm satisfied with where I'm at.
When you say there are things that you still need to work on, specifically, what are those things?
My curveball, it's just it's not there yet. I just got to work on it in the bullpen. It's not as sharp as I'd like it. Just don't really have the confidence in it right now that I need to have. So just need to throw it a little more, and it'll get there.
Chris Stewart was actually saying before the game that one of the things he likes about you is that you have the confidence to go to all 4 pitches. So you're still trying to get that curveball maybe to catch up with the other 3 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's for me to be, right. That's the pitch that I need. It's what I'm going to go to when I'm ahead. So it's just one thing that we're getting ahead of guys. We're just not being able to put them away because it hasn't been there yet.
And then finally, 9 innings so far this spring. You've only allowed 1 earned run. You're in a competition for a starting rotation spot or roster spot. How do you feel about the way you're competing right now?
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I'm throwing the ball well right now, and just hopefully I can carry it over in my next appearance and just keep it going.
That's David Phelps. Back to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Jack. Excellent job with Mr. Phelps, who acquitted himself very well here tonight and has, as Jack said, 1 earned run in 9 innings during the course of spring training this year. And he's definitely, Lou, making a bid for this job in the starting rotation.
Yeah, he talked about his curveball not being ready. That breaking ball is the last pitch, basically, that a pitcher gets in spring training. You got to build up that arm strength. Slider, curveball. That's why you see early in the spring a lot of fastballs, a lot of changeups. And then as the arms get a little stronger, now you start seeing these pitchers mix their breaking stuff in.
Yeah, we were talking about Sean Kelly's slider. We just saw it.
A good one.
Struck out Gattis, and he gives way to Ernesto Mejia, who was a strikeout victim his first time up.
Boy, that's a pounding fastball. Heavy.
91 at the knees.
Short armor, probably a little difficult to pick up as a hitter.
There's that breaking ball, and it's 0-2. It's got 2 tilts to it, down and away, just very sharp. I can see that. That's the strikeout pitch. I don't know if he'll waste one here. Maybe waste the pitch. Yep, going upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now here's where he's got him set up for another slider.
I would be looking for the slider here,
Yeah,
Ken.
all right. So he'd have to throw a really good one to get you out.
Well, maybe not.
There it is.
Yeah.
He thought he might have chased it, but the home plate umpire said no. David Rackley, the home plate umpire tonight. 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 9th inning. 2-0 Atlanta. Good pitching from both sides tonight. See what Kelly has under the offering here. Went to it again, and there's your strikeout slider. 2 strikeouts for Sean Kelly. Bottom of the 9th inning, Yankees need a rally. They're down 2-0. Fans, tomorrow night the Nets look to take care of business in Charlotte with a captivating matchup against Kemba Walker and the Bobcats. Coverage on Yes starts at 6:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame, and Ian Eagle and Jim Sparco call all the action from courtside, only on Yes. We're here at the bottom of the 9th. J.R. Graham is still in there, still bringing it too. Yankees down 2-0. First batter is the first baseman Luke Murphy.
You know, a young right-hander closing out spring training game. Nice challenge for him.
Yeah, it is. You know, there's always the anticipation at the end of the game. They begin to warm up that bus headed back towards Orlando. 1-1 pitch, and look out, it's inside. 2 balls and a strike. Well, you don't have much time to get out of the way of his fastball. He's hit 100 miles per hour once tonight. It's only spring training. Ground ball. Shortstop makes a nice play. Reyes spins and throws and gets his man. Elmer Reyes with a nice play at short.
Yeah, what I've noticed here about the defensive alignment, the Braves, they're shaded a little bit more up the middle and right center field. Shortstop makes a really nice play there. Made it look easy.
I don't think they expect the right-handers to pull this guy. That's
exactly.
Here's Thomas Neal, who took over in right field for Zoilo Almonte. Neal the other day down in Fort Myers at JetBlue Park hit a home run against the Red Sox in a Yankee victory. Takes a fastball upstairs for ball 1.
You know, I've never seen that park, but it looked a little bit like Fenway.
It does.
On TV, anyway.
There's a resemblance. Even a bullpen. Ooh, hit hard again, right at the shortstop, Reyes. Plenty of time. 2 down. Yankees down to their last out. Corbin Joseph is the only starter in this game who's gone all the whole way. And he represents the Yankees' last chance. He is single and grounded out twice. So in a way you could say he's the one who drew the short straw. He hadn't played a whole game tonight.
Probably very happy.
Oh yeah, I would be too. That is downstairs for a ball. When you first get to big league camp, usually you're at the end of the games. When you've been a veteran player, you don't see the end of games. You get out of there in the 5th or 6th inning. Ground ball off the pitcher's glove to the second baseman DeWitt, who fires the first to Mejia, and that's going to be your ball game. The Braves come away with a 2-0 win against Joe Girardi and the Yankees. Will be back here tomorrow afternoon when they take on the Dominican Republic team. So quick turnaround for the ball players, at least the ones in the Yankee uniforms, as tonight they lose by a score of 2-0 to the Atlanta Braves. Here's a look at the final totals. For the Braves, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. For the Yankees, no runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. The winner is Paul Maholm. The loser is David Phelps. Graham gets the save. Schaefer 1 for 2 with a double, a run, 2 walks. Maholm 3 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, a couple of strikeouts. There's the number on Phelps. Pitched well, 2 strikeouts, a walk, 2 hits, and 1 run in 4 innings. Well, that'll do it from here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Today's game produced by Troy Benjamin, coordinating director John Moore, our senior vice president of operations Ed Delaney, our supervising producer Woody Freeman, and our executive producer is Mr. John J. Filippelli. Join us again Wednesday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic team at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. on the Yes Network. Once again, the final score, the Atlanta Braves 2, the New York Yankees 0. For Lou Piniella and Jack Curry, I'm Ken Singleton saying so long from Tampa.